Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Hey there, friends. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. We are tracking some rainfall out there today. Actually got a line of storms moving across the Live Oak area out there towards Suwannee County, moving into Columbia County, and this line even stretches towards the north here across parts of all the way out towards Ware County and Charlton, actually, there past Fargo, over towards Folkston. Mainly just east of Waycross at this point. Now, we're looking at some storms out here today, and the highest risk is going to be along this line, just kind of working its way all the way back towards the Big Bend area. So let's actually take a look at the forecast real quick, and then I'm going to see if we have our social medias up. You can comment on our YouTube or Facebook page. Just would like to talk to you guys, because our plan is just to kind of walk through this and track these showers and take your questions here on FCN Plus. So that's the whole goal here. All right, so take a look at that forecast. Right now it's 10:30. We're expecting those showers to kind of move closer to Jacksonville in about an hour and a half. So it's still got a little bit of time here, but it is already approaching the Lake City area. And you even see that here with our futurecast. Look at this, by 11:12 passes over Lake City. Already see some showers work their way into Jacksonville, and then passes just towards the east of Jacksonville. By the time we get into about lunchtime there, I mean, we get closer to by 3-4 o'clock. A lot of this is already going to be working its way off towards the south and east, and by dinner time, most of it will have worked off the way towards the east there. But primary threat is still this scattered showers out here on, well, the first time we've had rain in Jacksonville actually in over a month. We are at a bit of a record at this point, believe it or not. In fact, this is the first rain in the city since October 27th. That makes it 34 days without any recorded precipitation at the airport. Not quite record-breaking, but pretty close. Number 7 overall on our longest stretch of rainfall. The longest was 46 days back in 1970, but still pretty impressive. Now, is this storm going to have some severe weather with it? Well, according to the Storm Prediction Center, there was this 2% chance somewhere around the Big Bend area, around I-10 over towards I-75, Lake City down towards Gainesville. And you kind of see a little bit of that helicity, gusty storms there in the yellow being popped up here. This just clearly indicates instability due to the rotation in the atmosphere aloft. So you get higher helicity, it causes a bit of rotation, and then you create, well, some stronger storms. The thing is, though, and we've been seeing this all morning, is that if we go back to the radar here, and not just the radar, but I'm going to pull the satellite picture over top of this, we've had a lot of cloud cover all day, and the rain and clouds have been in place throughout this morning. So that actually is fantastic news. And you might be thinking, okay, it's been raining all day. Why is this fantastic news? Well, it's because of this, this is kind of blocking out some of that sunshine, reducing some of that instability from heating up, and thus reducing the chance of some stronger thunderstorms. I do want to note, though, I see we're still not streaming on Facebook. Malcolm, I'm not sure if we can rectify that or if that is still there. I've been checking it. If there's any way, Malcolm's our director behind the scenes, so if you just want to give me a shout out when it does start to stream, that would be fantastic. Malcolm's coming over to help me out here. So, oh, that button. Hey, there we go. So I guess you have to click the profile photo. I never knew that, Malcolm. I never knew that. I just learned something about Facebook today. Oh my goodness. Lewis Turner's just walked in. Lou, did you know if you're streaming live on Facebook, you just gotta click the profile photo and it'll pop up the live stream? I did not. Yeah, because the profile photo has the red circle around it. I didn't know that.
What?
I didn't know that.
You're the savant of
Facebook. Yeah, I got like 270,000 on Facebook right now.
Which is also unbelievable. I have to toot Robert's horn here.
I'll take it. You can. I don't know if Lou's mic is hot. He says he's toot my horn. I said I'll take it. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, just click the red star. The same thing on Twitter or X, the Everything app. A couple of these platforms, they'll put a red circle around your profile photo, and that just lets you know. We are streaming. How's it going, everybody? I'm Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner, just crashing Mr. Spetta's party here. We do have rain. First time, 34 days?
Yeah, we were just talking about it. The seventh longest on record. I'll pull up this graphic here again for you. Seventh longest on the record. The longest was 1970, 46 days.
Wow.
How was your drive into work today over Jacksonville, though?
It was, okay, so I get, I'm weird with my windshield wipers. It's I either want them at 100 miles an hour or I want them at 0. And I don't like the intermittent, the medium setting.
Surprises you. Here it goes again.
Yeah, so it was one of those drives where for about, it's a half-hour drive. For about 10 minutes, I was good with the full blast setting. You know what I mean? So I was really using those windshield wipers, and then, get to JTB to about university, and then we were kind of just that light little misting that every once in a while I'd have to turn on. So that is my windshield wiper description. But there were 3 little fender benders. I think it's just we're out of practice, as you mentioned, 34 days. We haven't had to practice in the rainy conditions on our roads, whether it's a blinding downpour, just enough to kind of make it sloppy and slippery. So that was my drive in a nutshell. It took me about 15 minutes longer. So I should have added 15 minutes on the front end of my drive.
That was the same with me coming up like the Arlington Expressway. There was no wreck or anything. It was just slow.
Yeah.
It seemed like, especially the Matthews Bridge and all the bridges, I guess for that matter, are going to be a little bit slick out there today. It's the everybody talks about it when you don't get a rain for a while, the oil builds up. We didn't have rain for 34 days, of course. And I could feel it. The road was a little bit slick out there this morning.
So to pop quiz you.
Goodness.
And this is one that I don't have the answer to, so it's more of I'm just asking curiously that stretch in 1970 of 46 days, was that a November to December stretch? Was it a dry season stretch?
I have it up here. 1 second. It was October 31st to November 15th.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So
same time.
Wait, so October 31st to December 15th.
Yes, that's what I said.
Yeah,
I said November, December.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
So, this is the dry season, right? So, Lee and I were streaming yesterday, and she pulled up the map of November precip day by day, and it was just nothing. And, it is kind of jarring to the eye, but while we are, 7th most, that's a pretty significant number. This is the dry season. So, typically in November, we only average a couple of inches, right? I mean, it's not like we get a lot of rain in November, December anyway, but when you're already running a pretty big deficit from a wet season that wasn't particularly wet, right? We ran a deficit then, and then we're even below normal on our dry months. That's when the drought conditions begin to stack up. Now, I will say the people who have had the most rain, since yesterday, the folks in that exceptional bullseye there out in the Panhandle towards Tallahassee got a good bit of beneficial rain, and now in Southeast Georgia, we saw that kind of focus, earlier this morning, and a little bit more coming as we go through the day.
Actually, this is just showing you the last 6 hours even of just precip, and already, some of those spots out there where they are in that very severe drought.
That's good to see.
Oh, they got that's like 4 or 5 inches based on radar in some of those spots.
Yeah.
I'm sure farmers are absolutely stoked about it. They're happy.
They need it.
But for Jacksonville, so far we've gotten, like you said, the delay type of precip. We haven't really gotten that good soaker yet. Granted, I think as far as farmers and the plants are concerned, they probably would prefer kind of this light stuff versus a full-on downpour, though.
Yeah, over a couple of days. You know what I mean? Like they wouldn't want just, let's get 5 inches in 12 hours. Let's get, 7 inches over 3 days would be nice. That's not in the cards necessarily. Though I know we're not kind of into the deep forecasting yet. We are entering a period of time, a little more progressive pattern. So we've been exceedingly dry the month of November, and Climate Prediction Center has put out their outlooks for the December months and even the winter, and talking about it being a little warmer than normal and maybe even a little drier than normal. But that pattern may not necessarily hold up here these first couple weeks of December. We might actually have a few chances of rain if the kind of progression across the country continues.
And I think this kind of what you're alluding to here is the dips in the jet stream. stream because over the last, month, we've been kind of stuck under this high pressure ridge.
Yep.
But now we're getting more of a meridional flow. Fancy word for everybody at home saying we got a lot of ups and downs. It's progressive. We're going to have some passing weather systems versus this ridge, which has just been kind of sitting over top of us and keeping things just dry. In fact, this is a graphic. Like this has been the past month. This setup right here.
Yeah, after that first really cold snap that we had with that polar air coming racing down, that dip in the jet really retrograded back, and we've been left with kind of zonal flow. So when we say that, if you are a weather nerd like us and you enjoy looking at upper air maps and charts, and when you notice that the jet and the isobars associated with it are moving directly west to east. Everything's moving just zonal, as Robert said, going from the west coast, California, just straight over to New York. That's when patterns for us are pretty stagnant. It's very warm, it's very dry. And places in the upper latitudes, USA speaking, so you're talking Great Lakes and our friends up in the Northeast and the Pacific Northwest, they get hit with pretty big storms. What we tend to see and what we want are those kinks kind of in the jet, those dips. And when I say we want, when we want a change in the weather, when we want, rain chances and cold snaps and things like that. So, more or less, we're not seeing anything, massive with this latest rain that we're getting, but we do get a quick cold snap after this too. So our temperatures do drop. It's a reasonable amount as we go through the next couple of days. So we'll watch those upper air movements, and it helps kind of forecast to come.
And actually, we put out that weather impact alert for Saturday heading into Sunday morning because of the next weather system coming on through here, Lou. And you see here Tuesday, of course, we have it out for these scattered showers, and we'll get that break. That next kind of little ridge, cooler air, and then we get the next weather system. And classic December type setup here.
Yeah.
So let's take a little walk around the radar here, though, and see what we got going on. Of course, we're tracking this line of storms, and that's the whole point of this stream here this morning is there's nothing severe out there right now, but we do have a little bit of a line that we're going to watch, and this is probably the highest chance for any strong thunderstorms. What was it? SPC had a 2% of tornadoes.
Yep.
And
only I think a 6% chance of even those severe winds.
Yeah,
I mean, that was pretty small too.
And I think that one thing that we're noticing here this morning, and the reason why I jumped from radar to satellite radar, is you kind of know where I'm going with this here, Lou. Is the satellite the cloud cover? Yeah,
cloud cover. So look at where the clouds aren't, and that could be a situation where you might have a greater chance of seeing some stronger weather. I'm going to hesitate to use severe at this point, but where Robert. So where you're seeing the excess clouds, and that would be I-10 corridor and north into southeast Georgia. That's going to keep things pretty stable. You know what I mean? But now, high resolution, the rapid refresh, what we call the HER model, which works, in really short increments, but fairly precise. It was painting, a little later on this afternoon in that 2 to 3 o'clock time frame, a couple of those yellows and orange pop-ups in some of our southern counties. So that could lend itself in those areas where we get a little more heating, a little less cloud cover. Maybe you see a little peak of blue that could blue sky, meaning that could be a precursor to maybe you hear a rumble of thunder a little bit later on in the day.
Yeah, and I think really it is going to be isolated. This is definitely not
at best
a supercell linear type setup. It's just I think it's notable because we haven't had rain over a month. But also, and there is some rotation in the atmosphere, but just the instability is not there.
Yeah.
Which I know sounds silly to the casual observer. Like, what do you mean rotation, but there's no instability? It means we got this going on, but we don't have this going on. It's simply put.
Yep.
What do you like my science there, Lou?
No, yeah. This and not this. Yeah. You got to have, vertical and horizontal. You gotta have it both. So those ingredients have to kind of line up perfectly through the rest of the afternoon. But we'll watch till 5. I think conservatively we'll say 5. I mean, many people will probably be done, with any heavy rain. Certainly by the time we get to the 5 o'clock broadcast today. But just want you, hey, like you said, we haven't had it in more than a month, so we're going to watch and we'll kind of track in real time with you, and then look out a little bit to where the rain will be later on today.
I got a couple questions here, just answer, or just at least comments. For example, Carmen,
Hey, Carmen.
Karen says, "Good morning. I'm happy for the rain." So
Morning.
that's fantastic.
Need it.
Also, we had Casper jump in on here. The line
Casper.
of storms popped a tornado warning for Port St. Joe prior to sunrise this morning.
Port St. Joe. Okay.
All right. Beneficial rain for many of them. Is that on the Panhandle? I have to Google exactly.
It must
where
be.
that is.
It must be Big Bend area, Port St. Joe, because they do have that marine weather warning out there right now. So yeah, that's that's Big Bend.
Southeast of Panama City, right in there.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That makes sense because there was that instability with some of those lines kind of coming in off of the coast earlier. Thank you very much, Casper, for jumping in on here. My international audience that I shared out to is asking a bunch of questions, guys, talking about the weather across the southeastern United States here. But thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it. I do want to actually talk about the weather across the other parts of the country, though, here, Lou.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a fun little walk because...
What, the snow?
Yes. Let's take... I was actually just sharing this with Malcolm, our digital director. So you want to know kind of where my childhood was.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in that snow belt towards Buffalo, correct?
And we have a camera about 10 minutes away from my childhood home right now. And this is why I live where I live today.
Are you wide out there right now? Do you have the camera?
Well, let's pull it up. Here
Let's
it
see.
comes. Let's jump over to the camera. This is currently not it. Let's see if it pops up here.
But I mean, essentially the entire state of New York. There you go.
There we go. That is Salamanca,
Is that the
New York.
thruway?
Yeah, that's the Southern Tier Expressway.
Southern Tier Expressway.
So Salamanca, just outside of like Olean area.
Mm-hmm.
This is right at the casino out there. Yep.
It always amazes me how New York tax dollars at work, but how clear those roads can get. Like they work so hard on plowing those roads, and having been married into Western New York, I'm from down here, but go up there and have been and driven within some lake effect snow. It is a daunting situation for the Southern boy to get kind of sandwiched between a couple of snow plows.
Oh, it's terrifying.
It's
to be
terrifying.
honest, especially if you get the snow blowing off, and then if they're salting at the same time, the car's just getting BB gunned in your face. And I mean, they're doing their job. It's just oh goodness
they do a
gracious.
great job at it. I mean, because if anything, even 1/1000th of what's happening there was around, the infrastructure doesn't exist, so we can't handle it.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Like they got a fleet.
Oh yeah,
a fleet of snow plows out there.
Yep.
Speaking of upstate or Western New York, let's jump over to Buffalo right here. We got a live look out of there.
Sweet.
Yeah. All right. A little snow on the ground.
Built for this. They can handle it.
This is Rochester right now. We're going to walk across the Northeast, just showing what's going on up there with this same storm. This is out of Rochester.
I wonder if that's the minor league baseball. What's it?
The
Rochester
Red Wings.
Red Wings.
The Red Wings.
Yeah, I've been there 1,000 times. Again, married into it. That's just outside of the little village my wife lives.
We'll jump over to Tim Tebow's former stadium. The Syracuse, I don't know what Syracuse's team is.
Don't know that one, but
Tim Tebow played for them for 3 years.
Like through the Met system, I think. Yeah,
maybe. I remember watching Tebow play, and it was the most okay. He was out there. He was swinging. I'll tell you that. He was trying to get those. He was trying. He has massive arms. He was like, I'm going for home runs. Then we can bounce over to Vermont.
Whole state is under snow.
Oh yeah, they're right in this just rain band right now, or the snow band, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
all of this tied to, the very kind of tail end of what's bringing us our rain, just ho-hum. They're getting blasted with, inches and inches of snow. The, entire state of Massachusetts and Vermont, getting it all, essentially all of New York, getting it, except New York City, Manhattan. It's tough, in a drawn-up situation like this, being so coastal and surrounded by water, of course, to get full-blown snow. So they're going to need a little more kind of pull from that low, see if they get some snow in New York City. Otherwise, it's just a damp, awful, kind of cold rain. And it's going up and down 95. This is not an ideal time to be traveling.
Imagine if you were
95 in the Beltway.
just driving from Jacksonville up to like New York, and it's like post Thanksgiving, traveling home, and you have to go through this.
Yep.
Oof.
Once you hit the Beaufort exit in South Carolina, all the way through the Beltway of Washington, D.C., and then you hit the snow. And so for us, we're on that little tail. Now, we've also been watching, this baby low that could come out of the Gulf. Could that enhance a little bit of moisture? That's essentially what we've needed to feed a lot of our rain today. So we've had all these fronts come across. We've had fronts because we've had noticeable temperature swings for last maybe 48 hours, and then we warm back up. But just the trend has been for these fronts to dry out and more or less be temperature and wind shifts as opposed to rainmakers. This a little more Gulf fed, so we're seeing the rain. And this is a good illustrator, where instability could be. A little later, with the potential for hearing some thunder, if nothing else. And I'm staring at Gainesville. I'm looking over, Union and Bradford counties into Clay County, where we've got some 70s, mid 70s even, so muggies out there. Now, Palm Coast is there too, but will the line make it that far down? That's the question. So watching Clay, we'll watch Alachua, Marion, Union, Bradford, sliver of Baker, and Westside Duval. If we get some thunder rumbles this afternoon, we won't be surprised by it.
You want to, hey, since I got you here, Lou,
yeah,
and we don't have anything severe popping out there, let's engage with the audience here. And I played this game with Lee.
Okay.
And I'm curious if you would be up for it. It's called Real or Fake.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So I took a ensemble of different photos and basically with all the AI slop out there today, and like half my feeds are all just AI slop, and it could be meteorology and everything else. Well, considering what I do for a living, the algorithm feeds me a lot of meteorology photos.
Listen, I see it, it wasn't a couple of months ago that people are legitimately, AI is getting so confusing and it can be fear-inducing what's getting shared online on social media. Had a call into this newsroom of a situation where someone was convinced that a tornado was hitting a part of our area. This is months ago, so I'm not talking about currently if you're just kind of tuning into the stream, but the photo that they showed me was like, it was so clearly fake, and it's just like you gotta educate and be skeptical with anything that's shared online these days, sadly.
For real.
So real or AI slop?
Yeah, so we're playing real or AI slop. Lee got 2 out of 5 right.
2 out of 5.
Right. So let's see if you can beat her score on this one.
I'm going to play, there's a psychology to this, Mr. Spetta, because I imagine, so I'm going to gamify it a little bit.
All right,
because my immediate gut instinct is this is AI slop.
All right.
And so I'm going to...
So, like, the problem with a lot of this stuff is sometimes there is a kernel of truth to it. Or,
Sure.
So sometimes this is a photo of sprites, which is a weather phenomenon.
A real thing. So with that in mind, I think you're going to try to fake me out a couple of times. I'm going to say this is real.
This, sir, is AI slop.
Stick with your gut, Lewis.
But and this was the whole point of this, is that some of these are so real looking that they even fool us.
Sure. For sure.
I downloaded an app called AI Detector because there's times where I see something, I'm like, that looks amazing. And then I'm just like, hold on a second. I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. All right, number two.
Now, you might recognize this photo. Real, yes.
Real.
This one's from the Auroras a couple of weeks ago, and that's the Dames Point Bridge.
Yeah, that was awesome. So yeah, I remember that.
That one.
I cheated, but I knew that one.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
But that one looks like, because it's all the bright colors and everything on it. It looks kind of. How about this one?
Okay, so I'm assuming we're looking at apparently looking at Jamaica. Yeah, the full screen's going to help me because a lot of times with AI, you got to look at how are the people portrayed. And this one's far enough away that you see humans there. Is there anything that would be a dead giveaway to real or AI? Just to gamify it, it looks very, very real. But I'm going to say you have found an AI-generated image.
You got it.
Yeah,
that is an AI.
So what's the giveaways here? So what's something that's actionable that people can kind of take away? Because how do you edit this, or not edit, but kind of figure it out for yourself?
This one is tricky.
Yeah.
And this one was actually claimed to be the impacts from a typhoon in the Philippines.
Oh, okay. So this was Philippines, not Jamaica.
But the point is, it could be Jamaica. It's fake.
Yeah.
But so like the context was that there was an area that was really hit, so everybody kept sharing it because they said it was in an area that was actually really hit by a storm. But I think one of the giveaways here is that if we look closely, there's a couple houses where everything is blockish, but there's a couple where it's like triangle. And then if you look closely, especially on the right near in the foreground, there's actually a tree growing out of the middle of one of the houses.
Okay.
So it's like right on the foreground, and there's not a palm growing out of somebody's house.
Yeah.
Like, that's not happening.
10-4.
It is a tricky one.
This is tough.
And it's getting better at making these things.
Yeah. A lot of times when you've got close-ups of human beings in a picture, you can look closely and see, they don't have 5 fingers, or their fingers are the AI has a hard time with like digits for some reason, and facial expressions, things like that. But when those wide shots happen. All right, real or fake? Real or AI slop? Thank you for the full screen. I can kind of analyze a little bit. Why would the ladder be up way over there? What else could be a giveaway? That's a lot of people that would be, but I get it. I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to say this is AI slop.
Yeah, this is AI slop.
It's AI slop.
That was actually the one that threw me first when I seen it, was the ladder. Yeah. I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah. Why would it be over there that way unless they're fighting a fire way over there?
All the bags are in front of the plane. It just doesn't make any sense.
Very organized. Yeah. Yes. But this is a tough one. That's a very, very tough one. It looks real. It does look real.
How about this one?
That's real.
That is real. You got it. Yeah. So I think you got 4 out of 5 on this one.
Yeah.
Not bad.
That's a great, somewhat stadium effect eye of a hurricane. Is this a specific one? Is this Melissa?
Yeah, this is a recent one.
I remember. I think I remember this one from Melissa. A lot of these are pretty powerful. But very, very cool. Good stuff. It's good reminders. Any image that you see on social media, AI is getting better and better, and making these the people who feed AI, the commands essentially to make specific images, getting better at refining it.
Oh. And I mean, the AI is probably watching this video right here, and they're going, "Oh, so the fire truck."
Yeah, that's what gave it away.
The thing learns, and then it's like, what I always say is that today is the worst AI will ever be.
Correct. It's only going to get better. Mm-hmm. It's a great point.
Yeah.
So thanks for the test.
I tried. I didn't get you there, Lou. I was trying to get you.
You got me. I truly gamifying it and thinking, well, he's going to try to fool me a couple times. If you had just laid those out with no precursor of, hey, is this real or fake, I would have certainly thought the Philippines picture was real, and I think that's the one I got wrong. That aircraft picture looked stunningly real. There were just a few odd things. So everything you got to take with a grain of salt, kind of furrow your eyebrow. And it's also why and this is self-serving promotion maybe, but find sources you trust, you know, and when it comes to weather information and life-saving information, things that could impact people's lives, find the sources that you truly trust, and you go to it every day. And maybe it's not just one, maybe one or two sources that you realize, okay, these people are humans, and they're going to work as best they can to filter real and fake and share the realist with you.
I think one of the advice I usually give people is, if it looks a little too incredible, it probably is. Now, that's not to say everybody's got a phone nowadays, so there's always new things that we have never seen before popping up. Certainly. But just be skeptical about it.
Yeah. I have to be. So heaviest of the rain right now, we come back to our showers here on the First Coast. And for us right now, it's a line that essentially extends out of Charlton County, Folkston, down through northwestern Baker County, kind of Sanderson's on that leading edge. McClinney, you may start seeing a little bit of rain here in a few minutes. But Lake City's kind of getting the pounding at the moment, right at that 75-10 corridor and the Suwannee River area. Mr. Spetta tracking it out. So if things hold together, and this is assuming the line holds, and that's an assumption there, because a lot of times these lines, as they move across, they maybe lose a little bit of their juice. They're not as organized. Probably still see some of those isolated showers, but we're looking at lunch hour, and this is what we were talking about yesterday, kind of watching the lunch hour, your lunch breaks around I-95, 295 for some rain.
Just reading some of the comments. Hey, if you guys have any, if you played along with the AI game, let me know how you did. But Casper also jumping on here saying, so that line of storms that did pop was right near Panama City, and also said loves looking at snowfall online.
Yeah.
But we don't need any of it here.
Yeah, because you got plenty of it this past January.
Right? Oh, yeah.
If Casper, if you are writing from the Panhandle area, goodness gracious, that was absolute record-breaking snow, January of 2025.
So he also asked, what are your thoughts on the next system and the rain opportunities? So
Yeah.
we do have that weather impact alert for next Saturday, right?
Kind of gearing up. So that's a good question. It gives us time to break down what's next. So we'll keep kind of that line there so you can track along in real time. But yeah, so we kind of ramp up rain chances Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think if we're going to be hyper focused on what the best information we have right now, all right, so that's the assumption, the best information we have this many days out, coupled with pattern. So Friday seems to be the best chance of showers is going to be southeast Georgia. You know, so we're calling for, I think, a 40% coverage of showers, and I think a good many of those folks will be our southeast Georgia areas, and perhaps out towards the Panhandle. Again, areas that need the rain. Saturday, Sunday is interesting. You know, we use several models, but you know, I think the common ones that we tend to use and like to talk about would be your American model, your GFS, and the European model. And between those two, they are wildly divergent in rain chances for Saturday and Sunday. Now, I think our confidence is as high as it can be at this point that we are going to get rain this weekend. You know, looking at Saturday, but you know, for instance, your Euro wants to end this, make it a Friday event for Southeast Georgia. Saturday, we start to move into Northeast Florida. There goes your low pulling things out, and then it dips kind of out of the area by the time we get to Sunday. So Saturday seems to be kind of our main event, and that's why we have highlighted Saturday primarily with that high chance of showers, maybe a couple of embedded thunderstorms as the best chance. But even kind of running that out, Euro wants to take the rain out of here by Sunday and actually drops the chances kind of entirely. GFS, on the other hand, wants to make this a Sunday event, wants to make this kind of later Saturday. We see some rain overnight, Saturday night, and then kind of stalling and lingering into the area through the better part of Sunday. So see how that does. So and that is pretty wildly different. And that is at the moment while we're kind of going 50% coverage Sunday, because if GFS holds, we're watching rain kind of lingering through the morning commute and into some coastal areas even into the evening Monday. So that might be overdoing it a bit, considering pattern, considering what we've seen so far this season. Short answer is we're going to get some rain this weekend. All right. I think we are confident in that. Right now we're kind of leaning heavier on Saturday than Sunday, but we've got Jags playing a home game Sunday. So what we're going to do is kind of wave the flag of weather impact alert Sunday, even if we think, and as we get closer, might put it up for the whole day. Even if we think we're going to get a little bit of rain for 60, 70,000 people coming down for a Jaguars home game against the Colts and take the levity of that, I mean, that's a big game, battle for first place. A lot of people are going to be at that game, rain or shine, but we just are going to want people prepared come Sunday at 1 o'clock. So if we start getting the inclination that more and more rain will be around for Sunday afternoon, we'll kind of fly that banner. But yeah, looks like a good chance to catch up on some rain over the weekend.
Yeah, let's bounce
Thoughts?
back. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think that we are in this pattern. We got a lot of these ups and downs with the jet stream.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be back into this blocking high again. At least
not for a few weeks.
Yeah, for the time being.
Yeah, because we're seeing stuff out to middle of December now.
Yeah.
Too. This same sort of pattern happening.
Any snow in the forecast?
I haven't seen any.
I don't see anything either.
I haven't seen anything get cold enough. I mean, that's a legit question. I mean, people are asking. I haven't seen temperature profiles get cold enough far enough south.
Like the 540 line, the magical 540 line.
Yeah.
I have not seen that drop into the first coast at all.
And the only time we have seen that this season.
Yeah.
We did see
that big cold snap like a couple weeks ago, right?
But it was just bone dry. And for us, it is a I'll go back to my just tired but useful analogy I make. It's rolling a Yahtzee, an all six Yahtzee on the first try to get snow here. You have to. It's not impossible, but it's highly improbable, and because you got to get 5 or so ingredients to line up perfectly at the same time. The reason we had that cold snap, dry air cools off way faster than that moist air. So for us, those cold nights that we had generally was driven by radiational cooling, and there just was we had dew points in the 20s and the teens in some spots. That really allowed us to cool off, but you just can't get any precip going.
And it has to be moist throughout the entire atmosphere, because what I've seen here a few times too is that the snow clouds come and on the radar sometimes it looks like snow, but then you see like the curtains in the sky and you can see it falling, but it doesn't reach the ground because it's just so dry near the surface.
Correct.
You're right. It has to be just a Yahtzee.
Yep.
And you got to have moisture, the cold air, the lift, then just all of it coming together.
Go up to St. Mary's. So we've got some, if we're going to real time track some showers, see them a little heavier shower.
Oh, yeah.
Moving but maybe just north of St. Mary's and the Kings Base, submarine base. Pretty good little downpour there. Unfortunately for, St. Mary's, if you wanted the rain, not exactly on track to move into a very populated area. It's about to move over to Cumberland Island, which any campers or the horses out there, you're going to get wet. But, a little downpour in that northern section of Camden.
Ooh, I'm gonna do a little side analysis. I love doing this.
Yeah.
I love looking at the side. It makes me feel fancy here whenever we do this one.
A little 3D?
Yeah, pretty. It makes me feel pretty.
Yeah, I feel pretty. Well, I said 3D, but if you want to be pretty, Spetta, that's all you.
Thanks,
so,
man.
Yeah.
But I do like looking at this because it shows how shallow even this is.
Yeah.
I mean, we're below 20,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds high, but what do we need? Like 40,000 for lightning?
Minimum 30 to 40 to get the lightning popping. So this won't be any thunderstorm activity, but a good decent downpour over a part of Camden County that's a little less populated, but certainly some folks out there on the bluffs that will get some needed rain.
But let's try to do the same thing for this line back over
towards Lake City.
Yeah, let's go to Lake City. Which, by the way, this is a current look at Lake City, I believe. I have a current
From their EOC?
This is from the airport.
Oh, the airport. Okay, cool.
Over there at Lake City. So, those storm clouds are coming in. It's starting to get a little messy. So let's zoom in and let's get our little three-dimensional look.
Right on 75. If you were driving out 75, right at the 10 interchange, you'd run into a pretty good line of blinding
I'll pull that up
showers.
here in just a second too.
Yeah.
So this one, let's see. I don't like. Sometimes this gets a little bit messy, so you have to move the camera around.
Again, not as high. I mean, it's higher than
20,000, 25 maybe.
Yeah.
One thing I do notice though is it is kind of sometimes you can see if the dryer is eating away at it, that you'll have a lot of like the cirrus flow out ahead of it, and it still kind of is remaining intact.
Yep.
Kind of running right up I-10 just towards the west of Sanderson. So I bet if we took a live look out of Sanderson and look due west, you might actually see kind of this cloud coming right at you here. So I'm going to bounce over and see if I can find that. Was this right there? Let's see if I can pull up. All right. Maybe it might have something right here. Which, by the way, hey, if you're watching on any of our socials right now, especially Facebook, I'm monitoring the chat. Let me know what the weather's like there for you, or if you have a specific location you would like to hear about. So, yeah, you can kind of see on the top of the screen right there, there's the cloud approaching. This is just off on I-10, just outside of Sanderson.
And not seeing the rooster tails coming behind those trucks, so not very wet there yet.
Yeah, it's not raining there yet.
Not raining there yet, so
Let's bounce.
kind of waiting on that.
Okay. Well, this is just west of that, so where it already is raining, just a little bit up the road here.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's see, and then this is back to that airport outside of Lake City, where you kind of are starting to see the drops on the there on the camera. We'll go over to No, that camera is completely garbage. I was gonna jump over to Lulu, but it's like this camera. Actually, this is on I-10 looking west. You can kind of see a little bit of a shelf cloud working its way. Let's see if it pops up here. There we go.
There you go.
Kind of off in the distance.
Yep.
This part of
Been
this.
so long. Even Speta and I, we are looking for anything, at this point, because it's just been so long since we've had rain, and just kind of wishing and hoping that this line keeps its act together, just for the sake of our yards, our gardens, things like that, because things are brown, things are dry, and we definitely need it. So we'll continue to track these line of showers all morning long. Of course, I'll be on with you at noon.
Yeah.
During the broadcast. Cool clouds there.
I like this. Keystone
Heights. Okay, and that's one of those spots that's actually in the mid-70s right now.
Mm-hmm.
One of those spots where you're seeing a little sunshine, too, through those clouds. If you look at the clouds off in the distance, it's shining pretty bright there. So, is the instability possible? Certainly. And maybe that's one of those spots you hear a little rumble of thunder later on this afternoon, a little after lunch hour.
Let's go right under one of the this is all the way out near Lafayette County. So we're out at Mayo right here, this next one. And they're kind of in the midst of one of these lines of showers pushing through.
There you go.
So, yeah. We're tracking this line. It's moving over Lake City right now. Nothing severe on it. But, we do have that rain coming. So, Lou, I don't know about you, but I think we should take like a 5-minute break here.
Okay.
We'll come right back. Maybe we can loop on the radar. Malcolm, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yeah, let's
Radar.
take a little bit of a break. Are you doing rain or shine, or is Mr.
Prangley's
Prangley
going to
doing
do
that?
So he'll do First Coast Living, I think. Let me check the text. But yeah, so y'all enjoy the, it is Mike. But y'all enjoy a little radar loop. Track along with us. We'll be back checking in with you as necessary throughout the morning.
All right. So thanks, Lou. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll be here. We'll keep going. So don't go anywhere yet.
Why do we come here? To reach for new heights, to dive to new depths. You can call it a team, even a community. That connection with others. We all deserve that. So why come here? This is why.
Swing into luxury, where golf and community come home. Located in St. John's, Florida, Stillwater is a premier 55-plus active adult community where golf is in your backyard. This bundled golf course community features a championship 18-hole course, top tracer practice facility, and resort-style amenities. Whether perfecting your swing or connecting with neighbors, Stillwater offers the perfect blend of relaxation and recreation. Live where every day feels like a getaway.
Maybe you're new to all this streaming, OTT, on-demand stuff. You need a trusted news and weather source, and we've got you with First Coast News Plus.
That's some pretty serious cold.
Get your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts,
heavy law enforcement presence,
extended breaking news coverage,
and that breaking news right now out of Camden County, Georgia,
and exclusive specials, all on your schedule. So download First Coast News Plus and start watching for free.
I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side. I've been working in meteorology for almost 20 years now, working with the Navy, even at Naval Station Mayport, as well as overseas, inside and covering typhoons, some of the biggest storms on Earth, and taking all that knowledge back here to the First Coast and in the Jacksonville, and help tracking our hurricanes and severe weather in our neighborhood, knowing how they impact not only our local community, but the military as well. And number one thing, of course, is being on your side, keeping you safe with your most accurate forecast. So make sure you download that First Coast News app, and also you can stream our newscast on First Coast News FCN Plus, as well as any severe weather or special weather coverage as well. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side.
I'm meteorologist Mike Prangley. Thanks for being with us here at First Coast News, and we're streaming on First Coast News Plus. Our weather impact alert continues until 5 p.m. this afternoon. One more batch of scattered showers across the area and a few rumbles of thunder. Right now, that severe threat remaining on the low side, but we're streaming on First Coast News Plus with frequent updates. So make sure you turn it over there, and we will cover you until we can give the all clear. Now, it does look like improving conditions on the way, at least for the drive home. So that weather impact alert will be allowed to expire at 5 p.m., but not before a few more downpours out there and isolated strong storms. Now we go into tonight, looking good for this evening. We're drying out, temperatures falling into the 50s, and we clear out by morning with lows in the mid to upper 40s. So feeling like December on our wonderful Wednesday. Back to partly sunny, especially in the afternoon, but highs only in the low to mid 60s. Outlook for Thursday, increasing clouds once again. We're in a very active pattern, maybe a few sprinkles up toward Waycross by late day, and then rain showers return, especially late Friday, Saturday, maybe some heavy rain, and that could continue, and now it looks like into Sunday. So a new weather impact alert has been issued for Saturday and at least the first part of Sunday. It all depends on how fast that front moves to the south, and right now it looks like it's going to be real sluggish, very slow, and as a result could be another big rainmaker. This one will be a much bigger rainmaker based on the latest model. So yeah, we're getting some of that needed rain in a much different pattern as we start December. So keep checking back with that weather next weather impact alert again for Saturday into Jaguar Sunday. So plan on ponchos for the game at this point. Overall, looking at the long range, we're going into the very active part of our December. You know, we got so many plans going on for Christmas, New Year's, and we're putting together that long-range forecast all the way into 2026. So check back on that, and I'll check back with you. In the meantime, stay safe on those roadways. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. You're watching the First Coast News Weather Channel. We are proud to have been named the most accurate weather team in Jacksonville for the 5th year in a row by Weather Rate. We take our forecasting very seriously, and we want to get every detail right and accurate. We know weather impacts your day, whether it's going to work, going to school, running errands, going to the beach, or out on the water. You need to know what time that rain is going to arrive, how hot it's going to be, if fog is going to impact you, or if it's windy. And we want to nail it every day for you. We promise to keep working hard to stay the most accurate when it comes to forecasting for the First Coast.
for answers, you need to understand the facts. You want the truth.
The First Coast is my home. I grew up here, and I worked really hard to get back here.
Because I want you to be ready for what's coming.
You got to make sure you're exactly on point with your forecast. Being part of the most accurate weather team, we can give you that trust, helping you stay safe.
You earn someone's trust by showing up every day for them.
Why does it matter in a forecast? Trust isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Consistency with, the accuracy in your forecast. You're planning your day around it. You're planning your life around the weather forecast. Every storm.
Every forecast.
We are earning your trust.
Rely on the team, working every day to earn your trust. First Coast News, on your side.
Hi, folks. I'm meteorologist Lewis Turner, working here at First Coast News. We're on your side. Been here since 2010, forecasting the weather for Southeast Georgia, for the First Coast and Northeast Florida. And it is a blessing and a treat to get to do it and work here with the First Coast News Weather Channel, which is powered by the First Coast's most accurate weather team. My passion is making sure you are prepared to start your day.
I grew up watching First Coast News. I grew up watching Tim Deegan.
Meteorology is not only my job, it's my hobby.
I love being a meteorologist. I love being a part of your day.
When it comes to a forecast, trust isn't just one thing. Trust is the only thing that matters.
The First Coast's most accurate weather team, sponsored by AC Designs.
I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side. I've been working in meteorology for almost 20 years now, working with the Navy, even at Naval Station Mayport, as well as overseas, inside and covering typhoons, some of the biggest storms on Earth, and taking all of that knowledge back here to the First Coast and in the Jacksonville, and help tracking our hurricanes and severe weather in our neighborhood, knowing how they impact not only our local community, but the military as well. And number one thing, of course, is being on your side, keeping you safe with your most accurate forecast. So make sure you download that First Coast News app, and also you can stream our newscast on First Coast News FCN Plus, as well as any severe weather or special weather coverage as well. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side.
I'm meteorologist Mike Prengley. Thanks for being with us here at First Coast News, and we're streaming on First Coast News Plus. Our weather impact alert continues until 5 p.m. this afternoon. One more batch of scattered showers across the area and a few rumbles of thunder. Right now, that severe threat remaining on the low side, but we're streaming on First Coast News Plus with frequent updates. So make sure you turn it over there, and we will cover you until we can give the all clear. Now, it does look like improving conditions on the way, at least for the drive home. So that weather impact alert will be allowed to expire at 5 p.m., but not before a few more downpours out there and isolated strong storms. Now we go into tonight, looking good for this evening. We're drying out, temperatures falling into the 50s, and we clear out by morning with lows in the mid to upper 40s. So feeling like December on our wonderful Wednesday. Back to partly sunny, especially in the afternoon, but highs only in the low to mid 60s. Outlook for Thursday, increasing clouds once again. We're in a very active pattern, maybe a few sprinkles up toward Waycross by late day, and then rain showers return, especially late Friday, Saturday, maybe some heavy rain, and that could continue, and now it looks like into Sunday. So a new weather impact alert has been issued for Saturday and at least the first part of Sunday. It all depends on how fast that front moves to the south, and right now it looks like it's going to be real sluggish, very slow, and as a result, could be another big rainmaker. This one will be a much bigger rainmaker based on the latest model.
Hey there, Jacksonville and across the First Coast. Thanks for staying with us here. We're streaming here on FCN Plus and on a multitude of social media platforms. And our whole goal here is to, not hype this or anything, because that's the far cry from what needs to be done here. We got a line of showers. This did have a severe weather risk with it, but it's really not packing that too much of a punch. But we are getting some of our first decent rainfall in, well, over a month. In fact, it's been 34 days since our last significant sign of precipitation on the First Coast. This actually is the 7th longest stretch. Jacksonville has gone without rain since records began right around 1900 here. And the rain is definitely a welcomed sight. This was a look this morning out of Fernandina Beach. Brenda sent this in. Great shot right there. Just as very damp frontal. We had low clouds overhead, just kind of reducing visibility and making for a slow morning commute. And a lot of people were talking about that this morning. We did have a couple accidents, in fact, out there just because it was a sloppy start to the day. And now as this line moves overhead by about lunchtime, that's going to be the highest chances of some thunderstorms, primarily south and west of Jacksonville. Not to say it's completely impossible in Jacksonville. Just the higher chances are going to be along the I-10 corridor, parts of Union, Bradford County over towards Gainesville, where it is a little bit warmer in those areas here. And you can even see with our line, even the in-house model we have here doesn't really show a lot of instability with it. But the problem is, we don't have a lot of instability, but we do have some rotation in the atmosphere, and that's what we call helicity. And there is these areas in the yellow indicating some gusty storms. But the good news, I don't see any of the purple that would indicate an isolated tornado. The Storm Prediction Center did have a 2% chance earlier on today. And yesterday they did say, across the Big Bend area there was that risk. And in fact, just south of Panama City earlier on this morning, there was a tornado warning in place because one of these storms did have some rotation and spin up in it. But at least for now, until 5 p.m. today, we're under weather impact alert for these scattered showers, a few strong storms. But the biggest thing is going to be some slick roads as this kicks on by and marches its way off towards the east. And you can see here, let's actually slow this down. You see here by 1 o'clock, passing over Jacksonville. So next hour or so, this is slowly working its way towards the east. And then by about 2, 3, a lot of this dries out with some lingering showers on the backside of it, but nothing to be running towards the basement for, okay? It's just some scattered showers right now, and at least as far as what we see out here, there's nothing too crazy going on. But if you have any questions, maybe you want to report where you are at this time, let's talk about it. Let's kind of walk through it here together. Pardon me, and let's see what's going on out here. So this is a live look out at Lafayette. That's kind of closer to where this rainfall is taking place. And we can zoom in currently just north of Lake City. In fact, let's take a look at the I-75 to I-10 interchange. I'm going to try to pull up some cameras out of that area here, because I do believe that's kind of where some of the heavier stuff is coming down right now. Actually, let's go right just towards the east of that. Or how about, I'm trying to pull up some cameras here. This is on I-10 just towards the north of Lake City. And look at that. Yeah, it's coming down. No lightning really coming out of it, but we got the rain continuing to fall there. We can just go towards the east of that, walking along I-10. So basically traveling on I-10, a slow go. People are zooming right along here, but these roads, and don't forget, a lot of these roads haven't had rain on them in about a month, so they are going to be extra slick. There's going to be kind of that oil buildup on the roadways, and I even seen it this morning driving into work on the Arlington Expressway. It was slick. Like if you slammed your brakes or you spun your tires, you would probably feel it a little bit there. This is just towards the north of Lake City. Kind of see a little bit of those lower clouds approaching in there from the west. This is kind of right on the edge of these storm clouds, and this is basically right off of 441 and I-10. This next one I'm going to pop up right there. Yeah, you're looking towards the southeast, and actually you can kind of see on the middle of the screen right there, it's kind of the lower clouds pushing in. That's that leading edge of that heavier rainfall. The rain falls down. It causes evaporative cooling, causes those clouds to drop a little bit. Then that's where you would see a little bit of a gust front if we had any taking place out here. Would be the leading edge right in there. In fact, let's jump over Let's see what our winds are doing right now. So here's your radar. There's your line of storms, of course. And you can kind of see where our front is right in there. And I'm actually going to, you know what I want to do with this? Let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at our temperatures. And can you see a difference? Yeah. Area in kind of lighter green just north of that. And then let's take a look at our winds and let's see if we have any backing taking place. Now, backing is basically what we call when the winds shift backwards. They shift like if you're looking at a clock and it backs. So you have the southwesterly wind. Let's actually pull up our front here. You can see exactly what our front is because you have the southwesterly winds out ahead of this, which is ushering in that warmer air, relatively warmer air, I should say. And the reason why it's a bit breezy even well ahead of this for places like Jacksonville, Union, Bradford, over towards Gainesville. And then behind it, you see in Valdosta, the winds have shifted out of the west to northwest. So that's what we call FROPA, frontal passage, and it is obviously along that line that you're having that highest chance of instability where we have our showers currently set up. So it makes sense. See the winds right there, and then we bounce over to there. You can kind of see where our line of showers and thunderstorms are, and we can zoom right in. I think the heaviest stuff at this moment is just towards the north of Lake City, just towards the west of Sanderson. I'll even take kind of a little bit of a two-dimensional scan on this one. See the top's going up to about 16,000 feet. That's nothing. There's no lightning in there. It's a solid rainfall, reducing visibility in spots there just north of Lake City, but nothing too heavy, at least at this point. But it's important to track because that is going to shift towards the south and east over Lake City in the course of the next 5 to 10 minutes. So at least over the highways there. Now let's zoom back in on this and let's actually take a look at kind of where this is all headed, because this leading edge of this moderate rainfall is moving its way into the Jacksonville area. And we can time this out looking ahead closer to about noontime. So we got about a half an hour. We'll start to see some of those showers in the leading edge of that move over the city further towards like Middleburg about 12:30, Green Cove about 1 o'clock. And then let's actually start this over. Let's look at the backside of this line. So when is this all going to be over with? When are we going to start to get more drier conditions? And by Jacksonville, I mean, actually, I think that's a little bit fast. Let's push this back further towards the west. There we go. Jacksonville, it doesn't change it much. 12:30, 1 o'clock. About 1 o'clock, we might have this on the back side of this line. I mean, it's chugging along. This is moving at a pretty decent pace. I would dare say by 1, 2 o'clock, we're going to have most of this towards the east of the city here. So pardon me, that's why we're tracking it here on FCN Plus with you. Just kind of watching this march along. And yeah, I want to hear some of your questions, though, if you're watching here. For example, Lori jumped on here, Lori Powell, and said, happy to have the moisture. Thanks for the forecast. I'm happy to be providing you the forecast here. And me, just like everybody else here, we're pretty pleased that we're actually getting some rainfall. My yard needs it. Absolutely needs it here. So thanks for jumping on and asking that question. Let's take a look, actually. I'm going to take a moment, drink something here. Ugh, goodness gracious. So let's zoom in on this radar imagery, and let's kind of get a little bit of a closer street level. It's been a while since we've had some good street level tracking here. You see just north of Lake City. Let's go right in where one of these heavier cells are kind of pushing there. And this is approaching I-10 just towards the east of 441. This overall line, let's actually put this on a loop so you can kind of, let's go, I think that I went too far. Let's do 30 minutes. The last 30 minutes, give you a good idea of where this is headed. So basically do west to east. So this line does look like it's going to be approaching Sanderson in the next. Well, let's pull up our little tracker here. So when is this heavier rain going to be approaching Sanderson? About half hour. So not even 20 minutes. It'll be over top of you. Kenny in about 11:50, 5 points at 11:40. McClenny right around 12:08. So all of this is working its way towards the east in the specific line. And this specific line is where you would have some of the stronger showers. We don't see anything that's rotating in this. We don't see any real lightning out of it. But it is definitely going to reduce the visibility here just for a bit with that heavier precip. And then once it kicks on by, I dare say drier skies are going to work their way in. In fact, so let's bounce over back to the I-10 corridor here on our camera. And this is going to be neat. So let's go behind. So right there, ooh, this is a good shot. This is just towards the east of Lake City, just towards the west of Sanderson. But what I want to do is pull up a camera west of Lake City. Not too far west, but we're gonna go out here just towards northeast of Live Oak. So this is on the I-10 corridor where we just had some of these heavier showers push on through. And talk about de-escalating quickly. Look at that sunshine out there. Right? I just heard Malcolm say wow back there. Yeah, it has changed. And then we're going to go out to the Suwannee Valley. So we're going out to Suwannee. Suwannee's Boys Camp. This is what that is. Look at that. Now, this is a pretty cool shot because I believe this is looking due east. So we're actually looking at the storm cloud as it moves away. So this is just north of Live Oak. Look at those blue skies. Look at the cirrocumulus clouds. Look at altocumulus, cold weather clouds filtering in on the back side of this. We can actually bounce over. Oh, I'm having fun on the back side of this because it's beautiful. So once the storm passes, things are going to change pretty swiftly. Actually, let's jump over. We're going to go out to Waycross. Let's take a live look out at Waycross. This whole line already kind of kicked on by. Now, they do have a little bit of the cloud cover out there. Actually, I think it looks like Waycross still getting some damp conditions. Nothing too crazy, but they're kind of still have the instability with this front. They got some cloud cover. They're not quite dried out completely with the sunshine yet. But if we bounce over and we just continue to follow towards the west here, let's see. I'm trying to pull up some of my cameras here. It's just not loading with the GDOT's taking its time on loading some of these shots up. Maybe we can go Madison? Yeah, Madison's a good spot. Oh, they're still seeing a little bit of cloud cover on the backside of it. But it is pretty impressive just around Live Oak how quickly this is dried out on the backside of this front here. Actually, out of Mayo, just a few minutes ago, we were looking at some heavy showers right in there, and it looks like this is all racing towards the east out of the Mayo area, and even have the blue skies building in. So my point is, this whole line right here that we're watching, this is the airport out just towards the east of Lake City, the next one I'm pulling up here. This whole line is moving at a pretty decent pace. So once that pushes on by, we're going to get some of those blue skies kicking in. And by the way, that live shot I just had where I said, our director was in the background here saying, wow. These were out of these, all the were cameras just right over here that were looking off towards the east and the back side of these showers. So this is rapidly improving once it pushes on by, and you're going to see some pretty decent conditions. So we just have to get through this line of rain. If you're in Sanderson, give it about 10 to 15 minutes. Jacksonville, a good hour, and this line's going to kick on by and push off towards the west there. Once again, though, if you're just joining in right now, recap that we are under a weather impact alert here on First Coast News. We basically put these out to let you know your day could be impacted. And this is until 5 p.m., but the reality is I believe most of this is going to be done by 1, 2 o'clock. If this main line has anything to say about it, that's going to be kind of kicked on by 12:30, 1 o'clock over Jacksonville. And a lot of it continues to dry out as it moves off towards the east. So the big thing here is still around lunchtime. We're going to have some slick roads, widespread rainfall. And right now we're tracking this whole line kind of approaching the Sanderson area. This is a live look out there. This is at, I keep on saying the airport. This looks like Gateway College. This is our weather stem camera out there. You can see the right side of the screen kind of getting a little bit dark with that whole line of showers pushing overhead. And instead of tracking where the line is right now here moving across northeast Florida, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the backside of this line. So this right there, and just move it towards the east. Jacksonville by 12:30. This is going to be passing on by. And I'm going to stay here with you. I know we're not trying to hype this. It's my job. I'm the digital meteorologist here at First Coast News because we know a lot of you are watching and streaming stuff now. So just going to be tracking this here with you. We're going to monitor through it. And if you have any questions specifically about where you are, or if you want to know about any specific weather in your area, I would like to hear from you as well. So yeah, this is moving towards the east. And going to be passing over Jacksonville about 12:30, Oakleaf about 1:03, Ponte Vedra about 1:40. So by 2-3 o'clock, a lot of this is going to be kind of moved away. If we zoom right in, though, we're watching this line right here of showers now starting to actually pass towards, I mean, it's cruising along. Lake City's already starting to see some improving conditions. Sanderson, McClenny are kind of next in the line here as this runs right up the I-10 corridor. And in fact, let's bounce back over to the cameras here. Let's go right over towards the I-10 corridor. Let's see what's happening just outside of Sanderson. Let's see if I can pull some of these up. Because I know we got some good I-10 cameras on Sanderson, or at least just west of Sanderson. By the way, I'm looking at my computer here. If you're looking down, you see it right there. So I'm not just looking at the ground on my phone or anything like that. Okay, here's a decent little shot. You got some of the trees in the foreground. Let's see if this actually gives you a good little representation of kind of the wind that we're seeing out there right now. Because you do have a little bit of the southerly wind blowing things around out ahead of this. We call it low-level jet. Get a little mixing. And it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I'm not going to sit here and hype it. And that's my goal whenever we do these weather streams. I will scream and yell if it's worth it. If there's something to scream and yell about. If there's not, I'm going to be real with you guys. It's not that bad. This is a good shot, though. This is out of Lake City? Yeah, right out of Lake City. You kind of see the back side of these clouds pushing on through. So right in downtown there. Already seeing the blue sky. So this is looking towards the west. And what we're looking at, it's actually on the back side of the clouds as we're starting to see those improving conditions come as this all moves away and towards the west. And in fact, if we continue to go west, let's actually pull up a camera out of Live Oak. This is a live look out of Live Oak in Suwannee County. So just like a 20-minute drive west of Lake City, that's what it looks like. And on the right side of the screen, you can kind of see the higher cloud tops right there. That's our storm likely moving away. In fact, I'm going to just turn the camera. Let's look towards the east right here. And yeah, you can see those clouds moving away, but there's blue skies out there. So even though it looks a little messy right here in Jacksonville, those improving conditions are coming in our direction. You know what else I want to do? Let's bounce over to our camera out of our tower camera. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to bounce over to our tower camera and look towards downtown. I'll pull it up here for you guys. It doesn't really show anything too good. Let's see. Maybe I can pull up our tower camera over top of the stadium here. So that's what it looks like there. This is from overlooking downtown Jacksonville towards the west. And I point this out because we're looking west as we see these storm clouds coming in our direction. So that's what it looks like right there. So you were kind of looking, I'm giving you a whole feel on the west side of this line, within the line, and now just towards the east where we have all this cloud cover over downtown as that's continuing to march off into that easterly projection. So, yeah. I saw Mike Pringley looking at me here a second ago. That would have been cool if he jumped in on the stream. He just kind of gave me a thumbs up and walked away. You're doing good. Thanks for the motivation, Mike. All right. So anyways, here's our line of storms. So, all right. So I call them storms. It's a far cry from that, though. Let's actually once again take a look at that two-dimensional look right here. Actually, let's even just try to pull up the make sure the velocity, if you're curious, like what the velocity is showing, because we don't have any rotation out here. Here's our line there just towards the west of Sanderson. And you know what's kind of cool about velocity, though, is that we can click some of these and we can get a good estimation on what the wind is, though. So, for example, right there, I just clicked about 20 miles per hour, you know? All right, so let's click so what's happening here is the the radar is looking at the cloud, and then it sends out multiple signals, and it hits the rain, comes back, goes out, hits it again, comes back. And it kind of estimates how fast it's coming towards the radar right here. So what this is indicating is it's coming towards the radar at a solid 20 miles per hour just west of Sanderson right now. Not destructive by any means. Goodness gracious, no. But it's out a little breeze, some of the heavier precip kind of mixed in there. Nothing I would be too concerned about. And then we take a look at the shear. So if there was solid rotation in this, you would see the shear kind of popped off on it. We're not seeing that. Here's a look at SatRad. So what we really kind of one of the big players in all of this, though, is not only the line of rain that we're seeing, but all this cloud cover out ahead of it. It really has been keeping our temperatures modified. So, for example, in Jacksonville, instead of getting up into the mid to high 70s, we're at 73. The highest chance for instability would be over towards Gainesville. But even then, we just still have a lot of cloud cover. And if we look out towards Gainesville, we do have those lines kind of coming in from the west. So these would be the spots on the back side of this, right in here. If we see anything develop and come up into this direction, I think that's where would be our next kind of real chance of any stronger thunderstorms. But even then, we still have a lot of cloud cover there. So that would happen probably between about 1 to 2 o'clock. Right now, though, yeah, you need that initial formation. We're not seeing it. And that initial line of stronger storms is already passing Lake City and kind of moving out towards the Sanderson area and approaching the Jacksonville area. So once again, I'm not trying to downplay it and say there's nothing happening here, but it's not severe. So I would say go about your day, but just be ready for some heavier showers to kick by from time to time here, especially on the I-10 corridor, approaching Jacksonville in the next, few minutes here. So, yeah, once again, though, if you're just jumping in now, our first rainfall in over a month in Jacksonville, 7th longest stretch on record. So we need the precip, and then it's kicking on by. And I think one of the most notable things is once it does pass by about 2, 3 o'clock, we're really going to see these temperatures drop a little bit, some drying air on the backside. Malcolm, I think it's time for us to take a little bit of a break. All right. Take 5 minutes. I'm going to reset here just a little bit. And, we'll keep with you here on all our social media platforms, as well as streaming, of course, on FCN+.
Cut the cord, get the app, stream free. Download the First Coast News Plus app, your trusted source for news, your weather, all your sports, and so much more on your time. Yeah, your schedule. Get your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts, extended breaking news coverage, and exclusive specials at a time that is convenient to you and your family. Download First Coast News Plus and watch for free right now.
I knew I needed physical therapy to be able to get back to doing the things I want to do, specifically golf.
Throughout Brooks Rehabilitation, with the 50-plus locations we have, we see people with many injuries across the board. We're really looking to individualize a treatment plan and create goals together. That way they can get back to the sport or activity they love to do.
I would definitely recommend Brooks to anyone who needs physical therapy. It enabled me to get back on the golf course to do what I want to do.
Nothing breeds competition and camaraderie in a community like sports. It gets your adrenaline up. Sports has a unique way of bringing people together. Your First Coast sports team understands that. We go beyond the X's and O's and to the heart of the game, where wins don't always make winners and the L's don't necessarily make losers, and where the highlights sometimes mean more than the trophy. Is where the real stories are told.
Sports Finals sponsored by Farah and Farah, Sunday nights at 11:30.
Wednesday, back to partly sunny, especially in the afternoon, but highs only in the low to mid 60s. Outlook for Thursday, increasing clouds once again. We're in a very active pattern, maybe a few sprinkles up toward Waycross by late day, and then rain showers return, especially late Friday, Saturday, maybe some heavy rain, and that could continue, and now it looks like into Sunday. So a new weather impact alert has been issued for Saturday and at least the first part of Sunday. It all depends on how fast that front moves to the south, and right now it looks like it's going to be real sluggish, very slow, and as a result could be another big rainmaker. This one will be a much bigger rainmaker based on the latest model. So yeah, we're getting some of that needed rain in a much different pattern as we start December. So keep checking back with that weather next weather impact alert again for Saturday into Jaguar Sunday. So plan on ponchos for the game at this point. overall, looking at the long range, we're going into the very active part of our December. We got so many plans going on for Christmas, New Year's, and we're putting together that long range forecast all the way into 2026. So check back on that, and I'll check back with you. In the meantime, stay safe on those roadways. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. You're watching the First Coast News Weather Channel. We are proud to have been named the most accurate weather team in Jacksonville for the 5th year in a row by Weather Rate. We take our forecasting very seriously, and we want to get every detail right and accurate. We know weather impacts your day, whether it's going to work, going to school, running errands, going to the beach, or out on the water. You need to know what time that rain is going to arrive, how hot it's going to be, if fog is going to impact you, or if it's windy. And we want to nail it every day for you. We promise to keep working hard to stay the most accurate when it comes to forecasting for the First Coast.
You're looking for answers. You need to understand the facts. You want the truth.
The First Coast is my home. I grew up here and I worked really hard to get back here.
Because I want you to be ready for what's coming.
You got to make sure you're exactly on point with your forecast. Being part of the most accurate weather team, we can give you that trust, helping you stay safe.
You earn someone's trust by showing up every day for them.
Why does it matter in a forecast? Trust isn't everything, it's the only thing.
Consistency with, the accuracy in your forecast. You're planning your day around it. You're planning your life around the weather forecast. Every storm.
Every forecast.
We are earning your trust.
Rely on the team working every day to earn your trust. First Coast News on your side.
Hi, folks. I'm meteorologist Lewis Turner, working here at First Coast News. We're on your side. Been here since 2010, forecasting the weather for Southeast Georgia, for the First Coast and Northeast Florida. And it is a blessing and a treat to get to do it and work here with the First Coast News Weather Channel, which is powered by the First Coast's most accurate weather team. My passion is making sure you are prepared to start your day.
I grew up watching First Coast News. I grew up watching Tim Deegan.
Meteorology is not only my job, it's my hobby.
I love being a meteorologist. I love being a part of your day.
When it comes to a forecast, trust isn't just one thing. Trust is the only thing that matters.
The First Coast's most accurate weather team, sponsored by AC Designs.
I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side. I've been working in meteorology for almost 20 years now, working with the Navy, even at Naval Station Mayport, as well as overseas, inside and covering typhoons, some of the biggest storms on Earth, and taking all of that knowledge back here to the First Coast and in the Jacksonville, and help tracking our hurricanes and severe weather in our neighborhood, knowing how they impact not only our local community, but the military as well. And number one thing, of course, is being on your side, keeping you safe with your most accurate forecast. So make sure you download that First Coast News app, and also you can stream our newscast on First Coast News FCN Plus, as well as any severe weather or special weather coverage as well. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side.
I'm meteorologist Mike Prengley. Thanks for being with us here at First Coast News, and we're streaming on First Coast News Plus. Our weather impact alert continues until 5 p.m. this afternoon. one more batch of scattered showers across the area and a few rumbles of thunder. Right now, that severe threat remaining on the low side, but we're streaming on First Coast News Plus with frequent updates. So make sure you turn it over there, and we will cover you until we can give the all clear. Now, it does look like improving conditions on the way, at least for the drive home. So that weather impact alert will be allowed to expire at 5 p.m., but not before a few more downpours out there and isolated strong storms. Now we go into tonight, looking good for this evening. We're drying out, temperatures falling into the 50s, and we clear out by morning with lows in the mid to upper 40s. So feeling like December on our wonderful Wednesday. Back to partly sunny, especially in the afternoon, but highs only in the low to mid 60s. Outlook for Thursday, increasing clouds once again. We're in a very active pattern, maybe a few sprinkles up toward Waycross by late day, and then rain showers return, especially late Friday, Saturday, maybe some heavy rain, and that could continue, and now it looks like into Sunday. So a new weather impact alert has been issued for Saturday and at least the first part of Sunday. It all depends on how fast that front moves to the south, and right now it looks like it's going to be real sluggish, very slow, and as a result, could be another big rainmaker. This one will be a much bigger rainmaker based on the latest model. So, yeah, we're getting some of that needed rain in a much different pattern as we start December. So keep checking back with that weather next weather impact alert, again, for Saturday into Jaguar Sunday. So plan on ponchos for the game at this point. Overall, looking at the long range, we're going into the very active part of our December. We got so many plans going on for Christmas, New Year's, and we're putting together that long-range forecast all the way into 2026. So check back on that, and I'll check back with you. In the meantime, stay safe on those roadways. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. You're watching the First Coast News Weather Channel. We are proud to have been named the most accurate weather team in Jacksonville for the 5th year in a row by Weather Rate. We take our forecasting very seriously, and we want to get every detail right and accurate. We know weather impacts your day.
Hey, Jacksonville, our friends across the First Coast. So we're back. You may have seen I'm just kind of rolling around with the radar here, taking a look what's happening across the First Coast, and still tracking this line of showers. In fact, if we jump over to the camera out of downtown Jacksonville, you are seeing the leading edge of this rain working its way in. Now, I'm going to be quite honest with you. Haven't seen any lightning out of this. We're not seeing damaging winds. We're not seeing tornadoes. I know there was that slight chance, but what we are seeing is some gusty conditions, not damaging, but gusty, 20, 30 miles per hour, and locally heavy rainfall embedded within this line. And that's why we have that weather impact alert in place. It says from now to 4, but to be honest, we've been tracking this all morning, and really about another hour or so, a lot of this line is going to be shifted towards the east. And we even take a look at our radar. If you're just jumping in now, I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. We've been tracking this for about the last hour and a half, when it started just towards the west of Lake City, and now we're just continuing to monitor this line. Now, we are seeing some more storms form up just south of Lake City. One area, I think, if we do see any stronger cells, probably going to pop up out of this. Our heaviest shower is just towards the west of Sanderson. It's cruising along at a pretty decent pace, and all this is approaching the Jacksonville area. And then given the next 10, 15 minutes, Jacksonville, you're going to continue to see this line of showers kind of work overhead. So when is it all going to be done? Instead of saying when is this going to arrive, because it's been cloudy all day, we've had rain this morning, let's talk about when the back of this line is going to move overhead. For the Jacksonville area, 12:30 to 12:40. By 1 o'clock, probably going to be seeing clearing skies, because it is de-escalating pretty quickly on the back side of this. For example, let's bounce over to our camera. So this is what it looks like in Jacksonville right now. Of course, you got the cloud cover, you got the rain approaching. Looks pretty dark and ominous, right? Then let's bounce over to, well, let's go over towards the Sanderson area, or just west of Sanderson, on the I-10 corridor. And this is kind of what it looks like out there. They're in the rain. Got a little bit of rooster tails popping up on the camera. Let's wait for it to load up. Excuse me. So this is just west of Sanderson, just west of McClenny, on the I-10 corridor. Please load. Let's try this again. Let's see if I can get it to load up here. It's even saying 511, but it's the camera. Like, there we are. The icons popped up on the screen. But, yeah, it's coming down pretty decently there just towards the northeast of Lake City, just west of Sanderson. Now, let's see if I can pop up a different camera in that specific area. They're actually right on kind of the southern fringes of some of this heavier precip that's moving off there towards the east. All right, so let's continue to work our way towards the west. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over, wow, this has changed. You're going to be wowed by this. Because if you've been following us for the last 20 minutes, I was showing you about 15 minutes ago heavy rainfall over Lake City. So that's a live look right here out of Sanderson. Got heavy rain coming down. This whole line is cruising along. But this is a solid front. But this is Lake City right now. How about that? Blue skies. Just working away in beautiful weather on the back side of this. So this front really is the dividing line. And we can even go west further. Let's go look at Live Oak, where we actually have some much cooler air spilling in. And you actually take a look at the clouds. We even have some of this kind of altocumulus starting to build in, what we call kind of cold weather clouds if we go back to Live Oak. Some of this cooler air, much more stable air filtering in on the back side of this. So even though it looks gloomy, it looks cloudy here in Jacksonville, things are going to be changing up pretty quickly in the next few minutes. You're going to start off with this rainfall, which we're seeing march its way towards the west towards the east over the city. This is another look actually towards the north at one of these rain clouds. So this is out of Jacksonville on the I-95 corridor. We're seeing this all work its way towards the east over the city. We're going to see that rain kind of kick in for 30, 40 minutes. And then right behind it, it will sharply improve as this moves off towards the east. And then we're going to start to look at our temperatures kind of drop throughout the day. In clear out, relatively clear out, we're going to be looking at clearing skies by 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Temperatures dropping to the 60s to 50s as we get ahead later on tonight. It could be into the 40s by tomorrow morning. Taking a look at our future cast, you kind of get a good idea of what I'm talking about here as this whole line moves on out by 2, 3 o'clock. Our high resolution in-house model really kind of handling it with that northwesterly flow spilling in, and then you see those northerly winds continue to check back in. There is that bit of instability with what we call helicity, but we need thunderstorms to actually create some rotation or anything like that as far as severe weather is concerned. And we just really don't have that at all. So once again, going back to the fact that, this whole line of storms is kicking on by pretty quickly. We have the kind of a quick shot of rainfall with it that we're going to see over Jacksonville. We see that approaching the Sanderson-McClenny area. Now already seeing vastly improving conditions in Lake City. And not really seeing any lightning or anything with this as well either. In fact, let's zoom right in on some of these spots. Very shallow around Jacksonville. Baldwin, you got kind of that heavier, moderate precip kind of moving on through. And you see here this line just north of Sanderson and McClenny. I keep on going back to that because that is definitely the heavier line. In fact, let's go to two-dimensional look. And I say heavier, but this is only spiking about 10 to 15,000 feet. 20,000 is the max of the cloud tops. I know that sounds in a just average, like 20,000 feet. Wow, that sounds high. But reality is you need 20 to 30,000 for lightning. Ooh, and even look at that. That just fell. Some of that just collapsed. So it's not very potent at all, to say the least here. But what it is doing, it is drawing in that cooler air. For example, look at Waycross. 57. Now, this is where I kind of draw on the line, though. So we're monitoring this line, right? And then look just sort of the south of Lake City. Look out towards High Springs, Branford. These cells in here, I do want to kind of watch. And hear me out. Because if we look at our temperatures, kind of see those areas of Gainesville, Keystone, getting into the high 70s right now. I mean, we have a solid southerly wind kind of fueling this up. So if we see any thunderstorms, it's going to be in these spots south of Jacksonville. Gainesville, Keystone. But the problem is we still have a lot of cloud cover. So you're not getting a lot of that sunshine kind of helping to heat up and cause some convection. But still, I mean, we have some dynamic forcing that could fire up a few of these storms in that area. I-10 north, though, the instability is pretty much over with. Look at this. Valdosta at 73, Waycross at 57, Brunswick's at 67, St. Simon's at 72. It's just too mild for instability. But St. Augustine, problem with St. Augustine is by the time this whole line kind of gets off into your direction, it's probably going to fall apart for the most part. But still, we're going to, we're watching that. See that instability line kind of popping off towards the south. But in general right now, this is not packing too much of a serious punch. What it is bringing, though, as I mentioned, is that cooler air. And we're already seeing a pretty significant temperature drop. Waycross down about 10 degrees while we're seeing that warm air out ahead of it. Real clear indicator for those who are just watching for the pure meteorology lecture. A real clear indicator of the temperature drop behind this line, though. And you can kind of see how that's set up. As far as rainfall is concerned, though, the heavier stuff was towards the west where they do need the rain. We're under this serious drought for a good portion of southern Georgia. In fact, look at this. I mean, some spots seen south of Tallahassee 3 to 4 inches, which you might think, oh, decent amount of rain, but they really need it out there. They are in an exceptional drought just around the Tallahassee area, extending just towards South Valdosta, Lake City. All areas have gotten pretty decent rain today. And it's just a significant drought right now. So hopefully this has kind of packed at least a little bit of a punch to allow some relief. Granted, it wasn't nearly enough to cause any significant relief out there. So let's look at the broader picture as this line pushes on through. I mentioned that dry air spilling in. You can even see that here with water vapor imagery. Our whole line and kind of that jet stream being indicated here with that very significant dry air just around Memphis over towards Dallas. This is going to continue to punch this along and push it. One thing that we did notice, though, is earlier today we did have some instability just around the Big Bend area. Kind of see a little bit of the V-notch on satellite imagery. I'm indicating it there. But you see how that whole V-notch is kind of falling apart as this works its way further towards the east. Originally this morning, just south of Panama City, there actually was a tornado warning within that earlier line of instability, but now falling apart and going to continue to march off. And then we get several days of dry air, and our next real chance of rain is going to be Friday, Saturday, over towards Sunday for the Jacksonville and First Coast area. That's where we do have that weather impact alert in place Saturday into Sunday morning. That's what's being indicated here in the red with those scattered showers. That's going to be our next kind of sloppy day. And that's important to note because we do have the Jags game. The Jags are playing at home on Sunday, and there could be some rain in the area. About a 50% chance, though, right now. I know that it sounds like a toss-up, but I understand. I hate that too. But it really is quite uncertain at this point. Just depends on how this next line sets up. And there really is no significant agreement in how the models are portraying it at this time. So for the time being, Tuesday, we still got scattered showers continuing to march on through. Wednesday and Thursday, we see some drier air. And then by Saturday, we're going to be looking at the next round of precip. Once again, though, if you're jumping in right now, that's kind of a walkthrough of what our forecast is looking like and what we have out there right now. I would love to hear from you if you have any questions or anything like that, especially if you're watching on any of our social media platforms, including Facebook and Twitter right now. I would really, not Twitter, Facebook and YouTube. We're not streaming on Twitter. I would like to hear from you, see if we have any questions or anything like that. And in fact, let me jump over. Don't see anything new. Just see somebody just give it a like. But if you have any questions, just write. Just write. Say, hi, Robert. So I feel like I have friends here. I feel like I'm talking to somebody and not just the void, if you will. I say we got a decent number of people that are watching, though, so at least I know that. All right, so let's actually take a look off towards the northeast. This is kind of neat. And I want to show what's going on because this whole storm system is not just, located towards the southeast. It's punching some pretty decent snowfall out across parts of New York, New England, New York City, heavy rain. If you have any travel plans in that area, just be ready for it. But this is actually a live look out of the southern tier just south of Buffalo. I know this area. This is Salamanca. Oops, I gotta pull up the camera. I'm looking at the radar right now talking. I got to pull up the camera for you. All right, so just south. And imagine, so for all our friends out of the Jacksonville area watching, whew, look at that. Pretty decent snow coming down. least they're keeping the roads clear. So, it's decent snow falling out there in upstate New York, but the roads are clear. So I guess you can be happy about that. But if we look a little bit further towards the east, this out of the Elmira area. So this is also in upstate New York. They're looking at some pretty decent snowfall as well, continuing to come down. Right there, that's Horseheads, Elmira College, I believe. That's what we're looking at. And then we continue. Actually, let's stay on the college thing. We're going to go all the way out to Rhode Island. This is south of the freeze line. Pretty messy conditions taking place there. And let's zoom right in on New York City. Why don't we? Just get an idea since we're traveling around and taking a look at some of these cameras here up north. And I'm really just kind of pointing these out to let you know, this isn't just a specific to the Jacksonville area type storm. We're really getting the southern edge of this and the instability going along with it. I wonder if oh my, this is pretty sloppy. This is just north of New York City. They're kind of right Accord, New York. Accord. Look at that. Oof, that looks just horrid. So anyways, this whole storm system, let's go back to our radar, is attached to this whole line. So we're seeing just up and down the eastern seaboard. If you have any travel plans, you're traveling towards the northeast, down the I-95 corridor, all the way through North Carolina, South Carolina. It looks like the I-95 corridor is significantly improving. And then we're on the southern edge of it. We're not really seeing any lightning, though, with it. That's great news. Do see it offshore. See kind of some of those strikes. I do know the lightning detector is working. Some strikes there. But for us, as far as heavier showers is concerned, we are seeing, as long as this line is right now, some of the worst of the weather is approaching Jacksonville on this entire line. And you can kind of see this moving now into Baker County, over towards Sanderson, just starting to pass right overhead. Lake Butler, seeing some pretty decent rain. Actually, we have a pretty decent camera out of Lake Butler. Let me see if I can pop that up. I have to move my whole line back down to the Jacksonville area after I was bouncing around off towards the north here. See, actually, this probably would be a cool looking little camera. We have a weather stammer camera out of Lake Butler. Let's put this up on the screen here for you. All right, here's a look at that. Yeah, all right. Little raindrops there. It's starting to get some instability kind of moving on through. So, yeah, starting to see some rain kind of work its way into that area. And as mentioned, this is all part of this whole line. Let's jump over to the radars. There you go. So there's Baldwin. As I mentioned, Lake Butler. That's what you're just looking at right there. Towards the west, kind of see this line of showers. But I don't see any thunderstorms popping up in it. It's just really this demarcation of where we're seeing some of these heavier showers, this frontal area pushing on through, veering of the winds out ahead of it, some strong southwesterly winds. Also out ahead of it, some pretty decently warm temperatures. Let me look at Keystone. Let's go back. Keystone's at 79, Gainesville's at 79, nearly 80 degrees, but there really is a tale of two stories right now, and you can really see where this front is because at Lake City it's 70, and once you go up to Waycross, you're at 57. So very obvious of where our front has already passed and where it is yet to come is just the instability out ahead of it, these warmer temperatures. But once it passes, you're going to see immediate clearing and cooler air start to spill in from the north and west. Let's take a look over towards downtown Jacksonville, though. If you are watching from downtown, the rain is coming in your direction here, too. Let's actually pull up our weather stem camera from the downtown area here. Let's bounce over. Let's look towards the west from the top of Everbank Stadium. I'm pulling it up, I promise. There you go. Nice little shelf cloud kind of heading towards the city there. So, yeah, our rain's coming. Nothing too crazy, but we're going to continue to track it here for you here on FCN Plus. So, I think I'm going to take a break here. Let's take a 5-minute break. Let's continue to track this. We're watching this line move on through. And we'll be back in just a minute. I don't want to talk till I'm blue in the face here. Well, let's keep you guys posted, though, and we'll continue to check back in. So I'll leave this up here. Actually, I'll put on the radar, loop it on through, and take a 5-minute break. Okay, we'll be back.
On how fast that front moves to the south, and right now it looks like it's going to be real sluggish very slow, and as a result, could be another big rainmaker. This one will be a much bigger rainmaker based on the latest model. So, yeah, we're getting some of that needed rain in a much different pattern as we start December. So keep checking back with that weather next weather impact alert again for Saturday into Jaguar Sunday. So plan on ponchos for the game at this point. Overall, looking at the long range, we're going into the very active part of our December. We got so many plans going on for Christmas, New Year's, and we're putting together that long range forecast all the way into 2026. So check back on that, and I'll check back with you. In the meantime, stay safe on those roadways. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. You're watching the First Coast News Weather Channel. We are proud to have been named the most accurate weather team in Jacksonville for the 5th year in a row by Weather Rate. We take our forecasting very seriously, and we want to get every detail right and accurate. We know weather impacts your day, whether it's going to work, going to school, running errands, going to the beach, or out on the water. You need to know what time that rain is going to arrive, how hot it's going to be, if fog is going to impact you, or if it's windy. And we want to nail it every day for you. We promise to keep working hard to stay the most accurate when it comes to forecasting for the First Coast.
You're looking for answers. You need to understand the facts. You want the truth.
The First Coast is my home. I grew up here and I worked really hard to get back here.
Because I want you to be ready for what's coming.
You got to make sure you're exactly on point with your forecast. Being part of the most accurate weather team, we can give you that trust, helping you stay safe.
You earn someone's trust by showing up every day for them.
Why does it matter in a forecast? Trust isn't everything, it's the only thing.
Consistency with, the accuracy in your forecast. You're planning your day around it. You're planning your life around the weather forecast. Every storm.
Every forecast.
We are earning your trust.
Rely on the team working every day to earn your trust. First Coast News on your side.
Hi, folks. I'm meteorologist Lewis Turner, working here at First Coast News. We're on your side. Been here since 2010, forecasting the weather for Southeast Georgia, for the First Coast and Northeast Florida. And it is a blessing and a treat to get to do it and work here with the First Coast News Weather Channel, which is powered by the First Coast's most accurate weather team.
My passion is making sure you are prepared to start your day.
I grew up watching First Coast News. I grew up watching Tim Deegan.
Meteorology is not only my job, it's my hobby.
I love being a meteorologist. I love being a part of your day.
When it comes to a forecast, trust isn't just one thing. Trust is the only thing that matters.
The First Coast's most accurate weather team, sponsored by AC Designs.
I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side. I've been working in meteorology for almost 20 years now, working with the Navy, even at Naval Station Mayport, as well as overseas, inside and covering typhoons, some of the biggest storms on Earth, and taking all of that knowledge back here to the First Coast and in the Jacksonville and help tracking our hurricanes and severe weather in our neighborhood, knowing how they impact not only our local community, but the military as well. And number one thing, of course, is being on your side, keeping you safe with your most accurate forecast. So make sure you download that First Coast News app, and also you can stream our newscast on First Coast News FCN Plus, as well as any severe weather or special weather coverage as well. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, First Coast News on your side.
I'm meteorologist Mike Prengley. Thanks for being with us here at First Coast News, and we're streaming on First Coast News Plus. Our weather impact alert continues until 5 p.m. this afternoon. One more batch of scattered showers across the area and a few rumbles of thunder. Right now, that severe threat remaining on the low side, but we're streaming on First Coast News Plus with frequent updates. So make sure you turn it over there, and we will cover you until we can give the all clear. Now, it does look like improving conditions on the way, at least for the drive home. So that weather impact alert will be allowed to expire at 5 p.m., but not before a few more downpours out there and isolated strong storms. Now we go into tonight, looking good for this evening. We're drying out, temperatures falling into the 50s, and we clear out by morning with lows in the mid to upper 40s. So feeling like December on our wonderful Wednesday. Back to partly sunny, especially in the afternoon, but highs only in the low to mid 60s. Outlook for Thursday, increasing clouds once again. We're in a very active pattern, maybe a few sprinkles up toward Waycross by late day, and then rain showers return, especially late Friday, Saturday, maybe some heavy rain, and that could continue, and now it looks like into Sunday. So a new weather impact alert has been issued for Saturday and at least the first part of Sunday. It all depends on how fast that front moves to the south, and right now it looks like it's going to be real sluggish, very slow, and as a result, could be another big rainmaker. This one will be a much bigger rainmaker based on the latest model. So, yeah, we're getting some of that needed rain in a much different pattern as we start December. So keep checking back with that weather next weather impact alert, again, for Saturday into Jaguar Sunday. So plan on ponchos for the game at this point. Overall, looking at the long range, we're going into the very active part of our December. You know, we got so many plans going on for Christmas, New Year's, and we're putting together that long-range forecast all the way into 2026. So check back on that, and I'll check back with you. In the meantime, stay safe on those roadways. Have a great day.
Hi, I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. You're watching the First Coast News Weather Channel. We are proud to have been named the most accurate weather team in Jacksonville for the 5th year in a row by Weather Rate. We take our forecasting very seriously, and we want to get every detail right and accurate. We know weather impacts your day, whether it's going to work, going to school, running errands, going to the beach, or out on the water. You need to know what time that rain is going to arrive, how hot it's going to be, if fog is going to impact you, or if it's windy. And we want to nail it every day for you. We promise to keep working hard to stay the most accurate when it comes to forecasting for the First Coast.
You're looking for answers. You need to understand the facts. You want the truth.
The First Coast is my home. I grew up here and I worked really hard to get back here.
Because I want you to be ready for.
Well, there's a look downtown Jacksonville. This is right on the, actually I think this is over towards 301. But let's bounce up to Callahan, or in Nassau County. All right, hold your phone. All right, just because this is pretty incredible. Look at that. That's a live look out of Callahan right now. This front has just whipped on by there, and when I say things are improving rapidly on the back side of this, I truly mean it. I mean, let's bounce over. This is a great shot. This is out of Sanderson. And we've been showing this shot. A few minutes ago, we had the leading edge of the storm cloud as it came on in. And now you can see on the left side of the screen, it's moving away. This is out of Gateway College. Look at the blue skies. I mean, talk about a change. So if you bounce down to Lake Butler, so this is out there, Union, Bradford County, we're still seeing this approach, still looking a little gloomy there, but boy, things are going to change up quickly. So who's seeing the heaviest of the rain at this very moment? Probably just towards the west of McClenny. Actually, we got a weather stem camera right out of McClenny here. This is at their Walmart there. Yeah, you got some pretty decent clouds coming in on in. So let's jump over to the radar. Let's stop walking around at our camera shots here. Let's jump over the radar. And yeah, you can see our line kicking on by right now. They're just approaching towards the Baldwin area and some moderate showers. But like I mentioned, this really is a dividing line between cloud cover, sloppy conditions, and just drier, cooler air spilling in behind it. By the way, let's look down towards the south because we do have some other cells we're kind of watching right now. Look at this latest blow up. If we go just towards the northwest of Green Cove, just around Penny Farms. And these are the spots. If we're going to see any strong storms, these will be it. Now, this is by no means a strong storm. I mean, this is like 8,000 feet. It's attempting to do something here. But the thing is, these areas towards the south, they're sitting in these much warmer temperatures. I mean, look at this. NAS Jax is at 75, Keystone's at 79, Gainesville's at 79, all near 80 degrees compared to the 58 out there towards Waycross. Just while we were sitting here in a little bit of a break, I went outside and just took a breath of air. I'm like, oh my goodness, it is warm and humid out here. We've been seeing these southwesterly winds all day, this low-level jet kind of mixing down to the surface, ushering in some warmer temperatures out of the tropics. And this is allowing for that kind of somewhat instability, but it's not a lot. And we've had this cloud cover continue to dominate, so it's kind of capping things out a little bit here. But if we do see any strong storms that try to form, they're probably going to be in this little swath right there where I've just circled. And those cells coming in just along the I-75 corridor. And when I say probably, I mean like less than a 5% chance, guys. If we see anything, that's where it would be. But the reality is that even threat is really pretty low here at this time. It is a leading edge of this cooler, drier air, of course. But also, you have that warmer temperatures out of it. So let's just kind of zoom right in. Let's look at this cell just outside of Lake Butler here, just passing north of Lake Butler. Actually, I was just showing you a camera there a second ago. Still looking cloudy, got some pretty decent showers just north of there. All of that is continuing the cruise towards the east. Jacksonville, just starting to approach the north side here. You got some heavier rainfall pushing on by, and you see it just north of Baldwin. So let's take a look actually at the general speed of this, and when is this whole line going to be not starting, but how about when is that blue sky is going to arrive? And we can see here Jacksonville still looking for 20 minutes, and it's cruising 20-30 minutes. Jacksonville executive, that is Craig, it gives it 1:30, but reality is I would say most of this is gone by 1:30. Middleburg at 1:30. It's moving at a pretty decent pace here. Been behind it. As I mentioned, there's just a lot of dry air that's going to be spilling right on in. And when you pull back the picture, you can kind of see that with the cloud cover. So you see all this cloud cover, and then here just around Lake City, Jasper, Sanderson's right now kind of in it. But this is all clear skies behind it. We can bounce over to our camera, and let's just take a quick look around. So first off, starting here, where are we? This is out of Sanderson. That's where they're currently kind of getting the heavier precip, just starting to work its way overhead. I say heavier, it really isn't that bad. Let's bounce over to Lake Butler. Got a decent little cloud kind of kicking on there as well. We can go... Let's go actually where we do have this shower kind of west of Green Cove. Let's see how it looks out there on the First Coast Expressway. Just opened here about a month or two ago. There's a live shot out of there. Of course, you're getting a little bit of rain. Nothing too crazy. Let's be real here. Let's not hype this because it doesn't need it. And then we look over towards downtown. And this is looking towards the west over the city. So if you're in the Jacksonville area going, okay, where is this rain? Well, you can kind of see it right there. So it is approaching. You kind of have this larger clouds moving on in. And this is kind of the leading edge of this little shot of rain we're continuing to monitor here. And then let's go towards the west. Let's go out to Lake City. And I just want to share this with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out to Gateway College, just towards the east of Lake City, just towards the west of Sanderson, and this is what it looks like after the front has pushed on by. So dramatically improving setup here once it kicks on through. So let's talk about this. Why do we have a weather impact alert today? Well, because we have the rain, of course. It's caused some sloppy conditions. We had accidents this morning in the morning commute, and this is moving at a pretty decent pace, so most of this is going to be done in the next few hours. But the point is, we need the rain in Jacksonville. We just ended yesterday our seventh longest stretch on record. The first entire month of November with no rain. Believe it or not, but 34 days continuous. You have to go back to 1970. We had a stretch of 46 days. That's incredible. Around the same time period, we are in the dry season, so having a stretch of a lack of rainfall this time of year is not completely unheard of. November was dry. Now we're starting off December. Yesterday we had a 0.1 inch of rain, 0.01. So that's what kind of broke the record here. But this is what a lot of you were seeing. Fernandina Beach, this was this morning. Brenda sent this in, just showing the cloud cover and a little bit of rain this morning. Here's a look at our forecast the next hour or two. We're still looking at that precip over Jacksonville, but then it's dramatically decreasing with improving conditions and dropping temperatures on the back side of this front after it pushes on by. With our hour-by-hour futurecast, you can still see here by 1, we start to see those storms pass overhead, but by 1:32, a lot of this tapers off and dramatically improving conditions on the backside of it as well. So we still have that weather impact alert in place, but nothing that I would panic over. Okay, friends. All right, so let's talk about the broader thing. And since I got your attention here, instead of just showing you this radar we're currently tracking, let's look at the broader picture. So we have this dip in the jet stream pushing this all along. We have kind of that troughing back towards the west. You can see across the southwestern U.S., and that's important to note because that's going to help fuel up the next storm system that I do believe is going to kind of march its way here towards the First Coast in the Jacksonville area by the time we head over towards the weekend. And here's the GFS. Saturday, heading into Sunday, we have that instability that kind of pushes overhead. Now, the European actually brings us in a lot earlier on Saturday versus Sunday, but it does bring those scattered showers as well. And here's the problem. Look at this. This is Sunday, 11, 12 o'clock. You know what happened around 12, 1 o'clock? It's a Jags game, of course, a home game in Jacksonville. So that could make things a bit sloppy there as well. And this is why we actually have a weather impact alert in place now for Saturday and the Sunday. If not severe weather, just some scattered showers can still bring some messy weather. And especially if temperatures are in the 50s and rain, honestly, that is the worst. And that's what it looks like for Sunday right now. 63 it says for the high, but most of the day it's going to be in the 50s. And let's say you have rain and 50s. Ugh, I hate that. I'd rather have snow. I know that sounds disturbing by most people, but I would rather have snow in the 30s because 50s and rain, it gets into your skin, it gets into your clothes, it soaks. Ugh, it's the worst. Absolute worst. So, yeah, that's why we have that weather impact alert there for next week and following the rain we're getting out there today. Let's look at the broader picture across the United States, though. Of course, we're sitting at 74 in Jacksonville, but look at Atlanta, Birmingham on the back side of this front. Snow, or not snow, but cold air spilling on in. Nashville's near the freezing point. And then you look back towards the north, Bismarck, 20s, and that's what happens when you live in North Dakota. 27 in Burlington. Even New York City is at the worst kind of weather. They're at 39 with rain right now. Could even see the switch over to some snowfall for a few of those areas there. And earlier, if you were watching the stream, we were actually looking at some live cameras out of the Northeast here, upstate New York, some pretty decent snowfall falling out there. In fact, let's just go for a gander real quick since I got you on here. And we're tracking this rainfall, but I just want to share with you that the weather could always be worse. Right now, we're in the 70s in Jacksonville. Some parts of the First Coast flirting with 80s out ahead of this whole frontal moving on by. But let's go over to a live look out of Salamanca, New York. This is in western New York. Some solid lake effect taking place there. And it's it's north of Pittsburgh. You see right there, 31 degrees. Let's pull this up. How about that? There you go. It's everybody's favorite shot today. This is high res. You can see the snow falling in the foreground. Oh, goodness gracious. Actually, one of the natural wonders of the world. Let's bounce over to north of where this camera is to Niagara Falls. And let's see what it looks like there. Oh, goodness. Actually, I don't... Okay, so what am I looking at here? I think that's the gorge right there in the foreground. I'm trying to figure out if yeah, that is the gorge right there in the foreground. I can see the Rainbow Bridge. So actually, this camera is in a bad spot because the waterfall is actually just towards the left of where this camera is looking. I wonder why. That's a little weird. It's like just shooting due west, but the Niagara Falls are actually to the west. You can kind of see the mist in the bottom left of the screen right there. You can kind of see the mist coming off of the waterfall. Whoever's pointing this camera is doing a horrid job. All right, let's look a little bit further towards the east. Me judging just somebody running a camera on the other side of the country. Maybe they're looking at something important. And then you look at like the University of Rochester. They're actually within one of these snow bands right now. And this is a live look out of there. So my point is, hey, the weather could always be, oh goodness, it is falling right there. Goodness gracious. Weather always could be a little bit worse. It's snowing up there towards the north. Back in Jacksonville, let's take a live look actually out of St. Augustine where our Nights of Lights are going on. And it's not looking all too bad. This is actually, and right now it actually is right near 80 degrees in St. Augustine. Look at that. Got some blue skies. Now this isn't kind of not great news though is with that cloud cover because it does add to the instability and does help create some additional chance of showers, which we are seeing actually a little bit just towards the west here. I'll bounce back over to the radar just towards the west of St. Augustine. You kind of see this line popping up there in St. Johns County. See that south of Mandarin coming over the river. Nice little cell kind of kicking off there around Fleming Island. Then you see just around Oakleaf, we have some other cells popping up there. Got this line back there towards Lake Butler kicking on through. So if we see any stronger storms, it would be down here towards the south within this area of instability. And in fact, let's just take a look at the temperatures. I mean, here you go, 79 in Keystone. St. Augustine is at 79 right now. Gainesville's at 79. So there is obviously a line here where you have just a bit more instability and some of these stronger cells continue to kick on through. But here's a live look. Actually, let's jump over to the radar here. Oh, wow, look at this. This is kind of, it's annoying for Jacksonville. Watch this over the last hour. So what's happening is the further east this gets, it's running into an area where we had cloud cover all morning. We had some rain this morning. It is more stable. So this whole line is more or less just falling apart as it's nearing Jacksonville. Of course, the rain's coming, but you're not really going to see much showers to speak of with this line. You just even watch it here. Watch as it just falls right apart. It's just running into this area of more stable air with all this cloud cover we're continuing to see. And even this line down towards the south, there is still some showers approaching Stark. But, goodness, it really is a stretch to call this showers even at this point. Maybe just out there toward Nocatee, Durban, we're seeing some of that rain kick on by. But really, this is just running into an area of stability, and it's not much to look at, to be quite frank with you. We're not seeing terribly heavy rain. There's no flood warnings. There's no special weather statements in place. Just some nuisance precipitation. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this, it is all very welcomed because we are continuing to remain in some of this relatively, this long period of drought. Karen's jumping on here. Karen, thank you so much. I need somebody to talk to here. Just jumped on, said, sun is beginning to peak out in Neptune Beach. See, that's the thing. Let's actually jump over to Neptune Beach. Karen, I got first off, I'm going to zoom right in on Neptune Beach here, just for you, since you commented on here. So we do have that rain out just towards our north of you there, just north of Mayport. Do have some showers kicking on by. But what I want to do is I want to pull up our camera out of Neptune Beach. Let's see if I do see some sunshine. Let's verify your report here. I see some cloud cover, although this could be looking in a different direction than you. Let's pull this up. Karen always taking some great weather watcher photos, always running with me at Austin Regional Park Run. Always appreciate that. Okay, I do see a little blue skies there. It doesn't look that bad at the beach right now, to be quite honest. North of this, just north of the river, you do have a little bit of that rainfall kicking on by, but it doesn't look too bad. And it's probably about 80 degrees right now because you're ahead of the front. There's going to be a big swing, though, once this pushes on through. Big swing in the temperatures. The winds will back, and we're going to see that cool down on the backside of this. And if that is to judge anything here, it's taking a look at Brunswick, Waycross, currently in the 60s to 50s. And you can see here over Jacksonville, we will see those temperatures kind of fall. So right now we're up near 80 degrees, but once the storms kick on through, and I say storms, I think this model is really overdoing it. These are not going to be thunderstorms by any means. This is just some rain. Once that kicks on by, it'll be significantly improving. And in fact, let's so we're just taking a look actually. So you're talking about Neptune Beach, but let's look north. I bet you if I grabbed our camera out of the Dames Point area, looking north, probably be able to see some of these clouds. So let's bounce over. Let's go over to. Oh, this is a good shot. This is out at Fort Caroline. Let's pull up Fort Caroline here. And this is looking west upriver. And yeah, you can look at the right. That almost looks like a Van Gogh painting. That looks pretty cool, to be honest with you. Kind of neat looking. I'm going to jump to the top of the Dames Point Bridge. So we're going to look out north from the top of the bridge. And this is overlooking Blount Island here. When that comes up, and you can kind of see the rain out in that direction. So if you are out there in Neptune Beach, Atlantic Beach, it's coming. You know, that precip is kind of headed in your direction. It's just taking a minute to get there. It is all. But overall, I mean, it is falling apart. I'm going to be frank with you. This is not looking too terribly heavy at this point. Jumping over towards, I mean, here we go. This is just east of the airport. So we're going to continue to look north here. We're looking out towards the airport on I-95. Yeah, I got some rain coming down. Nuisance stuff, but cars are still zooming along there. So it's not like the rain is heavy enough to be slowing anybody down. And then we jump back here once again towards downtown, looking towards the west. Ooh, this is a good shot. Look at this shot. I wish we had our tower cam working right now. This is a really good shot, though. There you go. So kind of see the leading edge of that precip. I wonder if I'm going to try one more thing, our tower camera overlooking downtown. I wonder if I can kind of see the leading edge of this cloud right here too. Huh. All right. That is not working well. And the camera's bouncing all over the place. This is a good shot here anyways. Let's see if anybody else has replied here to some of these comments. But if you're watching, you're just joining in now, I want to hear from you. I want to see your comments in here, especially if you're watching on Facebook. We got a couple people commenting right now. Or if you're watching on our YouTube platform, which I don't see anyone saying anything right now. So, I'm just going to keep monitoring. But anyways, here's a look at your rain. Pushing on through. So Karen, thank you very much for sharing what's going on out there at Neptune Beach. Do appreciate it. Looks a little dark and ominous right there over downtown, but trust me, it's not that bad. It's really just kind of the leading edge of this line of rain we've been tracking all day. Now just nearing the downtown area. And as I've been saying all along, I'm probably going to wrap this up around 1 or so by the time this passes the Jacksonville area. We're still going to watch for a couple of these storms down towards the south that could fire up, but they really... What was that? Did you hear that? Yeah. Either somebody fell upstairs in our building, somebody crashed outside, or there was thunder. Let's see if there was one weird lightning strike popping up here. I just heard just the weirdest rumble out there. That was a little, I mean, it could be, but really this line is not conducive for thunder. Could. Doubt it. But let's actually take a look at the time. I really am gonna be so surprised if this pops any lightning on it. Really. So this is gonna be past Jacksonville in 15 minutes. This is the backside of it. 15 minutes, Middleburg by 1:30, Ponte Vedra by 2 o'clock. This thing is just cruising right along, so we don't have too much more time on here with you guys. But there's a live look over. I mean, if that does kick off lightning, I would be surprised. We just heard something over downtown. It was a little like, huh? What was that? Let's see if it's raining out right now, actually. What I'm doing is I'm accessing the camera on top of First Coast News. Let's pull that up here for you. Are they in show right now? I might upset somebody if I move this camera a little bit. But yeah, you can kind of see over the stadium there. Of course, we're getting ready for the Jags to be playing here on Sunday. And that'll be our next round of rain kind of moving on through. We probably could see some precip out of this. That's why we have the weather impact alert in place for next week. Let's bounce back over towards the camera that we have on top of the stadium looking towards the west. Yeah. Some rain, clouds, meh. If anybody ever accuses me of hyping things, I swear. I always feel like I'm quite the opposite. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be frank with you. I'm gonna be honest with you every time here, friends. This is one of those times where it's like, let's watch this rain pass over Jacksonville, march its way off towards the east, and I'll give it 10 more minutes. I'm probably gonna wrap things up here, and we're gonna send it to just the radar looping on here for you, because there's nothing too much to be scared about or anything like that. I am watching some of these showers kind of north of the city though, and this really, like, for example, let's bounce over to. I'm trying to see if I have any cameras. Okay, let's go to Fort Caroline. Rain's just starting to pick up there. And this gives you a good idea of what we're looking at. You know, it's starting to pick up. Nothing too crazy. A little rain. Let's bounce over to the north side here. So we're going to jump on the I-95 where we are seeing some pretty decent showers. At least some of the heavier stuff. They're just north of the airport. And this is what it looks like right there. So actually it looks like it's already kicked on, but look at that. Look at the blue skies. I said that. It's moving so fast. Conditions are improving so quickly. I'm going to try to get a little bit further towards the south, just around Pecan Park Road. Or actually, no, that's where we're looking at right now. This is further towards south. This is closer to the airport. Yeah, it's raining. It's cut, but man, this whole line is just cruising. This is just north of Airport Road. This next one I'm pulling up here. So along the Beltway you are seeing. Okay, people are going nice and slow there. Got a little bit of rain. But let's go north of Callahan. Oh my goodness. Watch this right here. This is just north of Callahan. So we're only going like 5 miles west. Whoa. All right. So these conditions are going to improve pretty dramatically once this pushes on through, and it's just going to be night and day difference over the Jacksonville area once this pushes on by. That's pretty incredible. Just looking east of where this line is, and then towards the west, those blue skies just pushing right on in. And once this rain pushes through, it really is going to be just a big change up here. Let's go back towards downtown Jacksonville. I'll put up the camera here. We'll just plot the radar just for a few more minutes, and then we're probably going to shut this down, mainly because this whole line is continuing to fall apart. We're watching the rain continuing to near, but it is going to be over real soon. We are still watching a couple other showers down towards the south here, approaching Law T4 White. I promised you guys I would probably stay on until about 1 o'clock when this passed Jacksonville, and can't say the forecast was wrong. When we first started this around 10, I said right off the bat, I think most of this is going to be past Jacksonville by 1. We've been tracking this line from Lake City, running up I-10, and now passing Jacksonville here at 12:50, near 1 o'clock. How about that? It's almost like I studied this and went to college or something for it. Taking a look at the temperature drop, though, and then you can see right here. Right now we're in the 70s in Jacksonville, but I almost guarantee once those winds shift and they start to come in out of the west, like you're seeing in Lake City, coming out of the west, Valdosta's coming out of the north, almost can see the FROPA happening here on our winds. The you're going to see dramatically improving conditions and a little bit of drier air continuing to filter in behind this. I think right now, if you had to pinpoint where the heaviest of the rainfall is, it would be just west of Lawty here, just kind of cruising along. But this is just moving, as mentioned, in the drier air. Middleburg, you can get a nice little shot of rain. Give it about 10 minutes. It's going to be working its way into your area. Okay, so somebody said, I'm not sure who's getting the rain you've been talking about for a week. Out here in PVB, the sun is out. Barely a drop of rain. Don't feel like a weather impact alert. Okay. Just because it's not raining in your house doesn't mean it's not raining in other people's houses. All right, Michael or Michelle? Michael, I think. Those comments always drive me nuts because it's like, bro, we right here, you say, I don't know this rain you're talking about, as I'm showing you a radar with rain. Oh, goodness. I'm going to call you guys out when you make comments like that. I'm sorry. If you're going to put it in there. And also, we did actually have a tornado warning west of our area this morning. We had multiple accidents this morning in the morning commute in Jacksonville. It was raining just in the rush hour this morning. So we had traffic jams all around our area. So definitely a weather impact alert. And as I've been saying here for the last 2 hours, and I've been continuously saying, if anybody accuses me of hype, I swear, because I've been saying this is not really that potent. The actual line of storms here is not severe. It's a little windy, some scattered showers, and a very narrow stretch of rain, and even that is continuing to fall apart. So this just was a very messy morning commute. We haven't seen any thunder. We haven't seen any really gusty conditions coming out of this. We've just been kind of seeing this narrow band of rain. It did cause some travel concerns this morning, which is why it's a weather impact alert. And our weather impact alerts were never meant to say severe weather is coming. It just means it's going to impact your day. And I guarantee for a lot of people that had to drive in this morning, their day was impacted there, Michael. So I hope that answers your question. I know it wasn't a question. I know you're just being aggressively critiquing here, but just let you know, I appreciate the comment. It's somebody to talk to here on the chat, so I appreciate you jumping in and commenting. That is very kind of you. Thank you very much. But we'll take that into account. But I think we've been saying all along, this wasn't going to bring severe weather, at least to the Jacksonville area. Out west, we did have it, but since then, that has all passed, and this whole line continuing to fall apart. Got to get at least one person in here saying what happened to the weather impact alert, because I get it. It rained this morning. It was sloppy. There's a live look over downtown. We have this line kind of kicking on through. Out ahead of it, still looking pretty warm, to be quite honest. But it is going to be a dramatically improving conditions on the back side of this as it pushes off towards the west. Dramatically improving conditions. I mean, once again, that's a look over downtown, but we can go, we're going to stay on the Beltway. Or actually, let's just go out to Callahan. I was showing this earlier. A live look out of Callahan. Oh my goodness, talk about blue skies pushing on in. We had some heavier storms earlier around McClenny. We were tracking them live here for you. That whole line is continuing to shift towards the west. Actually, I'll pull up on I-10. We were tracking this very camera right here I'm pulling up right now. The storm pushed on through. We had some pretty heavy rainfall on I-10. That's already passed on by. And then if we go back over towards like Lake City, let's actually pull up a camera out of where we had some storms earlier today, just outside of Live Oak. Looking, actually, some little trailing showers around Live Oak area. That is out in Sewanee, but very vastly improving conditions from earlier. But yeah, we're going to see maybe still some trailing showers behind this. Nothing too crazy. It looks like most of this continuing to move off towards the east pretty quickly. And Jacksonville, you're going to start to see just some vastly improving conditions once this initial line kicks on by in the next few minutes. Let's jump over the radar, show you what I'm talking about here, and we'll take one more walk around, and then we're probably gonna shut this stream down in the next few minutes because we're seeing that initial line work its way on past. Still could see a couple more. See right here, you have the actual cold front right there, just towards the west of Live Oak. That could bring some additional rain. This is the prefrontal showers just there around Union and Bradford, out towards St. Augustine, but a lot of this is falling apart. The heaviest of the stuff is probably just west of Middleburg, just there around Loyalty. You're going to see some showers work their way into the Middleburg area in the next few minutes as well, just kind of marching along. But, I mean, just taking a look at the actual front with our temperatures right here. Look at this. Jacksonville's at 74, Waycross at 79, Valdosta at 72. Some dramatically cooler air spilling in behind this. And as we go ahead throughout the rest of today, it really is just going to be some vastly improving conditions with temperatures dropping into the 60s and to the 50s overnight, and maybe by the 40s tomorrow morning. Let's actually jump over to the 7-day, and I'll probably leave you with this right here. We had that weather impact alert today. I guarantee this is going to be dropped in the next. I'm going to talk with our chief here in a second. This needs to be dropped. It's pretty much kicked on by once it pushes through. We have some dry air Thursday and the Friday. We got increase in the cloud cover again. And then showers are going to return by next week and could even be just in around the Jags game here for you. So once again, I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta. We're tracking these showers here for you at First Coast News. I've been streaming for about 3 hours now. Came on around 10 o'clock. It's nearing 1 o'clock. I said I was going to stay with you guys until about 1. We're watching this line push on through the Jacksonville area, but it looks like most of it's falling apart with still some rain kind of squeaking its way on by. So we still could see some showers in parts of Clay County, though. You can see approaching the Middleburg area. And before I let you go, I'll zoom right in on this just for you guys. We'll get a little bit of that road view. So there's Middleburg. See some of the heavier showers just northwest of Loyalty. That's continuing to kind of march its way on by. But as mentioned, there's not really anything severe with this. It's just kicking up. It's running into some relatively warmer air temperatures in the high 70s. So if we do see any storms, it could be along this specific line right here in the next hour or two. But most of this is running into relatively stable atmosphere, so we're not seeing anything too crazy kind of coming out at this time. So yeah, we will be streaming later on today at 4:30 as well, just continuing to keep you posted what's happening out here across the First Coast. So as always, thanks for stopping by. I don't have any other questions or comments or anything like that. I appreciate everybody who's been jumping in on the stream and watching and communicating with us. And yeah, number one thing, though, is always stay safe out there. We'll try to continue to keep you posted here at First Coast News. All right.